Okay. Okay. It should be on. Who's this? Oh yeah, that's you, Dixon. Okay. Alright, let me just pull it up. Can you guys check if it's up? Then I'll start it.
Mine's included.
Okay, yeah, include your audios. And then, yeah, for the first segment, everybody, if you can please mute your mic except Dixon and I. Because that's going to be the first thing I bring. And then I'm going to probably go with them in arena. So we can showcase a little bit. And after that, we can kind of start the fight club. Leviathan, can you put the password in the chat? Yeah. Yo, Leviathan, Jeremy, can you put the password in the chat?
I'm doing it. You told us to mute ourselves.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that you did. I'm still in a. It says basically loading an ad, so it doesn't tell me. Okay, there we go. Okay, and
Solid
live.
damage.
Okay, all right, guys. All right, so I'm gonna take Dixon over here, and we're gonna discuss it. Let's go, Dixon.
Yay.
Gonna show. Let me just start the stream. All right, guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Dark Sigil podcast. We got a lot of topics today, and we got some cool stuff to show you. I'm gonna start over here with a friend of mine who was doing this the first day it came out, and I saw a video about this, and it's actually funny. The very first day this came out, I told him that I want another glitch that's similar to be back, and the very next day it was back. So I've been abusing that other glitch, which I'll say exactly in a sec what it is, since it was showcased. But basically, we're gonna go, and I'm sure unless you've been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, 5 days or whatever since the YouTube videos came out, we have the unbuffable weapons glitch back, which my friend here is showcasing. We have the boss invasions back, which I love, and if you don't like boss invasions, I'm gonna tell you go play offline, because at this point most of the people that play this game are people that are hardcore fans and people that simply don't care if they get invaded in a boss fight. I know I don't care if I get invaded. In fact, if somebody told me, hey, I'm gonna invade you in a boss fight as I'm doing a boss, I'd be happy, because I fucking hate PvP in this game. But anyways, so, and recently somebody, was it today, Dixon, if I'm not mistaken, somebody confirmed that there's also like a cast swapping glitch, right?
Well, that was already known. I just didn't know how to do it.
Oh, that was known? Okay. Yeah, so we got, yeah, so guys, I'm gonna basically start off the podcast with these three glitches. I'm gonna first turn it over to my friend over here, who's gonna showcase them and basically kind of give you a rundown. So if you haven't done this, just listen to what he says, and he'll be able to explain to you. And Dixon, yeah, so if you can take over and start with the unbuffable weapons glitch, please, and tell us how to do it, and then just showcase some cool weapons and whatnot.
You basically take, well, you can do this with any spell in the game, but the easiest thing to do is heal aid, as far as I'm concerned. And you basically, click left trigger, LB, and then up on the D-pad, all at the same time. Make sure that whatever spell buff you want to use, you have to have a spell buff. You can't, like, put bleed on a Moonlight Greatsword. So just make sure whatever spell you want to buff your weapon with is the next slot over. So if I can do it correctly, there we go. So LT, LB, up on the D-pad at the same time. I now have a Dark Moon Blade, Moonlight Greatsword. So that's the first thing.
Okay, and if you guys look at it, can you tell us also the AR? The
well,
glitch does increase your AR, correct?
Yes.
No, I'm not saying like in general, but it does increase AR,
well,
correct? So like,
yeah, it does increase AR, and you can even like cast spells that you don't have the stat requirements for, but I think the balanced way around that is the fact that your spells will still scale with whatever you're using. Um, but right now, what's the Moonlight Greatsword scale with? I have a +4 Moonlight Greatsword. Uh, I have 35 Strength, 60 Intelligence, and I have 60 Faith for the chime I'm using. Um, Keep in mind, this is my level 280 that I came in with just to demonstrate everything. Um, and then the way the boss invasion glitch works, I don't have the Miracle on me, but you do the exact same thing as if you were buffing a weapon, but instead of using a spell buff, you just use the Homeward Miracle.
Okay. So, do you have a Homeward Miracle on that character that you can demonstrate?
Not
Can
equipped.
Not equipped. Okay.
No.
Now, so let me interrupt you with the first one. So like the weapon buffs, okay? So I
Mm-hmm.
tried today, and apparently, so you mentioned like the buffs scale with whatever you're using. So what is
Yes.
the best talisman that has unfaltering prayer that would have the best spell buff, basically?
Probably the Sunless Talisman, because I believe it has an A in both Faith and Intelligence. The
Okay.
Yorska's Chime would normally be the best, but that's a chime. Um,
Correct.
but you can really use anything. If you're going for a dark spell, I would say the Sunless Talisman, but if you're going for a normal miracle or a normal spell, I would say the Sunlight Talisman is the best option.
Okay, and now let's say someone's doing it. Let's say people are doing it for fun. Let's say people are doing it for fun, bringing in unbuffable weapons. They're buffing it. Is the AR noticeable? Because I had some people test it today in
Yes.
a fight club I was in just for fun, and from what they said, the AR is definitely noticeable. So it's not like basically if you're fighting somebody or you run into a fight club and somebody says, "Oh, it's no big deal. I just put a DMB buff on my fist." It makes a huge difference, correct?
Um, yeah, the damage is definitely noticeable, but I mean, dual charms are in the game, and if you see someone going for this, just run up and start backstabbing them or whatever. Um,
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask you. Okay, so for example, I wanted to know how difficult it was to backstab somebody. Can you do what's it called? Can you do the buff and let me see if I can run up and backstab you actually. Like if I see
sure.
somebody doing it and I'm
Well, you
in a
wanna?
fight club and I see.
I'll just act like we're fighting, and if you want to go to the other end of the arena and just start running at me, like a normal
Okay.
fight would take place.
All right.
So you can see I'm fucking it up
Okay.
because it's not a very
Okay.
reliable glitch. So if you see
Right.
anyone
Okay.
starting out with a chime and they start doing some animation, it's extremely easy to punish them. There's a lot of uh, bitches who play this game who will treat it like it's a fair buff and they will start chugging. That's what I've
Right.
noticed. But yeah, if they're using force, it's a little bit harder to punish them. But I think you had a hidden blessing, by the way. I'm at a FP.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the thing, it's kind of funny how the game keeps putting glitches, or people keep finding these glitches, and they seem to find ways to contradict themselves. For example, force is obviously a much faster miracle than heal aid. But the
Right.
timing for buffing something with force is much harder than using heal aid, while heal aid is a slower miracle. So I think it's funny how the game tries to sort of balance itself, even though it's not supposed to be in the game.
Okay, so you mentioned just that. So, for example, so I've been messing with boss invasions, and I was doing the force. I had very difficult time getting the timing. I've switched to heal aid, and I've had much better, uh, what's it called? Success with the timing. So,
Yes.
if you are gonna do this, for example, if you're gonna boss invade or mess around with your friends doing the slower casting spell does matter. It does make a difference because it does improve in overall timing, right? Basically, you have a little more leeway when it comes to
Uh,
casting.
it's more forgiving when you use something like heal aid as opposed to force. Because
Okay.
I've used Force previously to do this glitch, and I just switched over to Heal Aid right before we started the stream, and I've been able to do it, almost every single time on all my
Yeah, I was gonna
examples.
say. Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
So
Heal Aid is
I've
definitely
I've
a
noticed. Yeah.
better option.
Yep, I've noticed that Heal Aid is definitely giving more success for me when it came to the boss invasions. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and guys, yeah. So can you buff your weapon really quick? And basically, so when you see somebody buff, in your fight club, depending on the host, obviously, make sure you have the dual charm suckers and just simply.
And I'm fucking it up now, so there's always, because what I've noticed is a lot of people still have no idea what the fuck they're doing with this glitch. I'll invade
Right.
people and I'll see gang squads just huddled in a corner, forcing over and over and over again until they're out of FP.
That's funny. That is
So,
funny. Are you out of FP,
I'm
by the way?
almost, if someone wants to drop down and give me a, what's it called? A hidden blessing, that'd be nice. But, yeah, if you see anyone going for, like, Force or, Heal Aid, thank you, Mike, in the middle, because dueling, it's obviously a lot easier to run up and beat the shit out of
Right.
whoever you're fighting, as opposed to running
Right.
into a group of 3 people trying to do it. Um, you know, so
Right.
it's
And
easily punishable.
right. And that's and so yeah. So go ahead and put a buff on it. So yeah,
There we
guys. There
go.
you go. So you see somebody do that, just dual charm them. There you go.
And
Dual charm
also,
them.
self
Um.
buffs will take away the buff as well. So, for example,
Okay. There you go. Yep.
I can't. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. So, I just put Dark Moon Blade on Onyx Blade. If I use Onyx Blade's weapon art, it cancels it. So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
can't
So
walk
that's
around
so.
with like a Dark Lorians that is also on fire. That would look
Okay. Yes. And
badass,
now
but you can't do it.
right. And you mentioned obviously. Okay. So that the other thing is, guys, if you have things like weapons that do stomp removes it as well, right? Uh, if you do it
Warcry
on like a
removes it,
war
but
cry, there you go.
I
Okay.
believe Stomp will not remove it. Like, unless it's something like the Profane Greatsword or Lorians, where the Stomp will buff
Self
it.
buffs.
Yeah,
That
it will
makes
not be removed. But
that makes sense.
the old King's Great Hammer, something like this, uh, that will not remove it either, because
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know, body buffs like
That's
Perseverance won't remove it, etc.
right.
It has to like
Right.
give the weapon more AR basically to cancel it.
Yeah.
And
And
even
now
the
the
most
other thing
minuscule
is
shit like the Eleonora weapon art will get rid of it.
okay. And then the other thing is I was gonna say, um, and obviously when you put the buff on, so like if you put the buff on and then you switch out, it removes it, right? Is that
It
correct?
treats it like you're
Okay.
buffing any other weapon,
Okay. And now
essentially.
the other thing I was gonna yeah, the other thing I was gonna say, so guys, with the improved infusions last couple patches, a lot of people are infusing their weapons. This glitch buff also works on infused weapons, correct?
Yeah, so I could put on my 150 scythe character, I'm putting Dark Blade on a Dark Infused Corvian scythe, and I'm getting around 700 AR with it, which scythes AR, a good AR on a scythe is like 400 to 550, and I'm getting 700. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can
Mhm.
you
That's
can
crazy.
yeah. Um,
And then the other thing is, okay, so yeah, so you're talking about this. So the other thing is implications, guys. And do you need, by the way, do you have enough FP to showcase some more, or do you need to
I'll
carry some
probably
on?
need one more hidden blessing, but for now I'm alright.
Okay. So now, so we talked about the buffs. Okay, so the buffs.
Uh,
You mentioned invading.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so for example, so I've been boss invading for past couple days, and when I mess up my invasion, I go and basically try to kill host. What I've noticed is what you said, which was hilarious, is there are gang squads now. What they're doing is that the gang squads they'll have a host who has overleveled phantoms, and the overleveled phantoms will do this buff so that they can have like DMB on Lido's hammer or all sorts of other shit on, like, for example, DMB on the crutches and whatnot. So
Yeah.
um what I've noticed, if you're an invading, guys, if you're an invader, just be wary of that. Because
Well,
not
overwhelm
only are they
phantoms are
ganking,
complete bullshit
right,
anyway.
but not only are they ganking, now in addition that they're ganking, if they know how to do the glitch, you'll die basically instantly if you run into them, because that AR is definitely there as far as like buff. Like it's not a fucking 20 AR boost. I mean it's a very very big AR boost, and it does stack up with like scaling and all that other stuff. So yeah, so I and the talismans. So if these people are running plus 10 talismans, sunlight talismans like you said, and they're fucking casting some DMBs or whatever, they're gonna have that extra AR. I've seen a guy use the lightning blade on a blessed Lothric, and that was giving him like close
Yeah.
to 1,000 AR. So yeah, it's crazy. So for those of you guys that are invading, be careful of the ganks that are running around with this, because they will use that just to gank you
Well,
faster.
I've been
So
I've been invading since the glitch came out, and I've seen one member of one gank squad pull it off consistently, but he like was not good at the game, and so he was still easy to kill, even though he probably could have two-shotted me.
right, and then the other thing is I was gonna say, okay, so once you buff something, the spell buff timing does matter, right? So, for example, if you put the Dragon Crest ring, I think that's the one that's called, it will
Yeah,
reduce its effect by
yeah.
20% or something like that, right?
No, the lingering dragon crest ring, or what are you talking about?
The bellowing, I think, is that the one that
Oh,
basically
no,
whichever one
that
that
doesn't.
increases duration.
That's the lingering.
Okay, that
Yeah,
increases the
lingering dragon
duration
crest.
of.
Yeah, it'll increase the duration of whatever you're using. So if people
Okay,
really want this to be effective, they also have to waste a ring slot on it, because no
okay,
one is
all
no
right,
one no one in their right mind is going to give someone the opportunity to recast this glitch in the middle of a fight.
yeah. Makes sense. Let me stop you there for a second. Hey guys, thanks for joining this week's podcast. We will be doing the Fight Club here in a few minutes. We're just kind of going over I'm sure what you've heard recently, the buff glitch, and it's kind of like implications, and we're doing like a quick short showcase of it. So once we're done, I'll be resummoning people, and we'll resume the Fight Club. All right, can you? All right, so that's the buff glitch. Okay, can you go ahead and give like a specific step-by-step way to do it for those who might not know?
You take well, you can do it without what's it called? You can do it without the poise talismans, like the ones that give you the yellow glow. Um, I think it's just easier for people to see the yellow glow around them, so they know they hit the left trigger on time. But all you do is press left trigger, left bumper, and up on the D-pad at the exact same time, almost. It helps if you hit left trigger a little bit before LB and up, but that's
Okay,
literally all you have to do.
all right, and you mentioned it, so your first spell has to be like a Helate Force, and then your second
You
spell
have
is,
to
is
have
supposed to be the
the
buff.
yeah, you have to have the heal or whatever you're using to start casting it. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm sure there's a way to, cast Fair and Dart and buff your weapon as well. Um, but yeah, it's pretty simple. Just LT, left bumper, and then up. And yeah, your whatever spell you're using to start buffing your weapon has to be before, and then your spell buff has to be one slot after. So
Okay, right. And the other thing I was gonna add, and I think you mentioned this. So, for example, so like if you guys look at my screen here, I have Bond of Light, for example, as my like regen spell. I think that takes 25 faith. If let's say you want to put DMB on a Black Knight Ultra Gracer, right? You do not have to
mhm.
have the stats for DMB casting, correct?
No.
You only have to have stats for the talisman and the first miracle that you're using to basically force cast it, right?
Yes. You don't have to have the stats to use whatever whatever your, I think that's the reason that the force thing caught on. Uh, no, dude, fire bombs are a complete disgrace to dueling. Um, I
That's
think
an
the
inside
reason
joke,
that,
by the way.
yeah, I think the reason that people use force more than anything is because it costs like nothing. What is it? Force
Hmm.
is like
12, I think.
12
That's the
faith.
requirement.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So, uh, yeah, you don't have to have the requirements to use, like, for example, I don't have to have 35 faith or whatever it is to use Darkmoon Blade, but the damage that Darkmoon Blade will add to your weapon does scale off whatever talisman you're using, so it would be better to, you know, obviously have a higher spell buff and upgrade level on your talisman.
Right. And then the other thing is, so can you kind of give a list of what you can buff? I know you can buff shields, right? You can buff like the dark hand that I have
Um,
here with me. The
you
weapons. What else
could
can you buff with
buff
that?
the, let's see if I can't buff the Dark Hand. Yeah, you could,
Yep.
basically, yeah, anything in the game. I'm not wasting any more FP or hidden blessings,
Okay.
but you can buff some shields with some things. I tried putting Darkmoon Blade on the Bone Wheel shield. It made the correct animation, showing that I did the glitch, but there was no side, like the shield didn't have Darkmoon Blade on it, but I have put Karthus Flame Arc on the shield and stuff like that. Um, there's a limit to what you can do with shields. You know, you can't put like anything on this as far as I know, or at least there's no aesthetic for it.
Okay.
But you can buff anything. You can buff an Avalon if I can get it. But yeah, literally, okay, I'm fucking it up now. But yeah,
I
you
was gonna
could
say, yeah. What
buff
about
literally anything
ranged
in the game.
weapons? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I've had purple great bows, blue great bows. I don't know, I'm fucking it up now, but yeah, you can literally buff anything in the game. Buffing a bow or crossbow will not give you a damage increase, though.
So it's just for fun, basically. It's
Pretty
just for
much. If
animation.
you want to run around
Yeah.
with a blue great bow, then
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the buff glitch, guys. Hopefully you all got that. Um, really quick, I just want to say its implication, guys. Like I said, I've seen it everywhere. Um, I haven't gone to arena as much because people are basically they're not using it for weapons as much. From what I've seen, I've run into people that were using it to insta heal. So be aware if you're going to arena. If you like, you gotta make sure you stay on people because they will insta heal. And if they're using like a talisman that has the unfaltering prayer, you'll be able to hit them, but you won't be able to punish them fully if they fully heal on you. You know, so just be aware of that. Ganks, for example, if you're invading a lot, be aware of ganks that, you know, like Dixon was saying, a lot of people they don't know it yet, but the thing is, the glitch is out and people are practicing, and I'm assuming in the week you're gonna see a lot more. People will be able to do it. People will play around with different spells. For example, Heal Aid, which does make it easier because of the fact that the animation is slightly slower. So just be careful of that. And the third is fight clubs. I absolutely think that it's fucking BS when it comes to fight clubs, which is why I posted this in this message. If you see somebody doing that, they should get ganked. It's don't even tell me that, like Dixon was saying, don't even try to tell me that that's an honorable buff. Unless you guys are doing it for fun, I can understand that, you know. But if you're doing like a true fight club where, you know, people are supposed to fight and it's all about skill and whatnot, don't be bringing in that shit, because if you do, expect to get ganked. At least that's what I would do if I saw that in my fight club. And then that's the buff. Invasion glitch, guys. I just want to say a couple things about the invasion glitch. So the buff glitch I don't really do, because I don't really care for it. However, I've been doing the boss invasion glitch since the day I found about it. I absolutely love it. I was a big fan of the previous boss invasion glitch. Like I said, I haven't received a single hate mail message, which makes me think that most of the people either don't care or they basically you know, they're not gonna send a hate mail. They're probably doing it themselves. I will say this: in areas that I haven't killed the boss, where I've been trying to do the boss invasion glitch, I have gotten invaded by other purples, and I would show them my talisman, and they clearly knew that I was doing the same thing, and they would just basically jump off the cliff, which I thought was hilarious. I think it adds, I think, and I know this is a glitch, but for somebody who hates PvE so much in this game, I think it adds a cool element to PvP. It's like, hey, I'm gonna have 3 phantoms with me, and we're gonna go take out the dancer. Well, guess what? You might get invaded by white purple, and he'll go and fight you. I think that's awesome. I think if, like I said, if I was doing boss runs right now, I would dry finger. I would summon my friends, and I would even post it in a message and say, please come boss invade me, because this shit's gonna be so much more fun than me going and fighting regular bosses, you know. So I can understand. Now, for those of you that are playing this for PvE reasons and you don't like PvP, I've said this before and I will say this again: the majority of community that's left in this game are hardcore fans or people that basically don't care. So if you have trouble, you getting, you know, boss invaded, go offline. If I'm not mistaken, can you guys confirm this? If you go offline, you can still summon NPC phantoms, right? If you can't kill a boss by yourself, you can still summon NPC phantoms. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Somebody can. Okay, there you go. So for those of you that are complaining about boss invasions, that's what I'm gonna tell you right now. Go offline, summon NPC phantoms. They're pretty good. I'm sure with the NPC phantoms, you'll be able to take out the boss if you're having trouble getting boss invaded.
Or, you know, just
the other
black crystal them out.
Exactly, yeah, thank you. And for those of you guys that want to play with your friends online, listen, if you get boss invaded, guess what? Here's what you do. Look at me. Look at me. This is what I do. You see this? It's the black separation crystal. You press that, use it, and guess what? Since they invaded as white phantoms, technically, you'll be able to send them home, and you don't have to worry about them. So, please, for those of you that are complaining about it, stop. Because you can go offline, you can play with your friends still, you can do all sorts of stuff. Worst comes to worst, you see somebody doing that, do the black separation crystal. Alright, so that's what I wanted to really say quick about this. And then now we're going to go to the third part of the glitch that I found out about it today. I didn't know about this, but that's because I'm not a spellcaster. So if Dixon can make his way over here, there we go. The third glitch is basically the cast swapping, right? That's what it's called. Spell casting or spell swapping, whatever the fuck it's called.
Remember when I said I wasn't going to waste FP, I lied.
Okay, so you don't have FP? Alright, you want to jump off? I'll just resummon you. I don't have any divine blessings, unfortunately.
You guys are a terrible charity fund.
Yes. You guys, yeah, yo, somebody go and fight, guys. Meantime, I'm gonna just discuss it a little bit more, so you guys can go fight really quick. Yeah. Meantime, so basically, since Dixon's getting resummoned, I'm gonna say this, guys. Like I said, the boss invasions, they're so much fun. I've had, I've been invading lately a lot more because there's less ganks and whatnot, because the bad people that would just gank constantly are pretty much have gone to other games like COD and all that other garbage. And I've definitely had a lot more fun invading, but bringing the boss invasions has given me like so much more basically like incentive to invade, and I find them hilarious. And to those that I might have invaded or I will invade, just so you know, if I do invade, I do wait, even though it may seem like a waste of time. I waited today in this guy's world 15 minutes because I invaded him at the church. Okay, he was starting at Central Irithel, and I waited till all the way he went through the whole Irithel to Pontiff. I ran in with my white phantom ring, and you guys can see a clip, by the way, if you guys want to see my activity feed. It's the very last clip I posted. This guy, this poor host that I invaded, and his 3 phantoms had no idea that I was a purple. Okay, I actually attacked the host at one point, and the guy did not realize that I hit him, and he kept his lock on Pontiff, and at that point I knew that
Sounds
the
back
guy
down.
just had no idea. Yeah, the guy had no idea about this glitch. So basically, I went and I basically finished him off, and his phantoms did not realize that he was getting hit. So yeah, it's pretty funny, you know. Like I said, you know, if you're getting mad, there's ways to avoid it. Black separation crystal, you can go ahead and play offline. So there's a bunch of ways to do it. Okay, so yeah, don't worry about it. We're gonna resume our Downcast, stop, or I'm not gonna summon you. We're gonna resume our fight club here in a sec, but we're gonna showcase some more stuff, and yeah. So boss invasions, guys, I love them. Like I said, even though it's a glitch, and I know you can be considered.
Well, it's clearly
hey,
meant to be
cheating.
in the game because people have figured out how to do it 3
Right,
times.
right. That's the thing. Okay, that's the other thing. See, Dix and I were talking about this. This is literally the 3rd time someone has discovered a different way to boss invade, and there clear was something initially put in the game. Otherwise, we would not be able to do this. So, but anyways, guys, we're gonna go to the 3rd portion of the glitch exposure.
This is
if you
my
will,
favorite part.
And I'm gonna have Dixon showcase the, what the hell is it called? Is it the cast glitch or spell cast glitch?
Cast swap.
Cast swap. Okay, the cast swap glitch.
It.
So, all right. So see, I have no idea. See, I don't play mages. You know, you guys know how I feel about mages. I hate them. Hate anything about magic. So tell me, for those who may not know, like me, what the hell does that exactly do, and then showcase it for us, and then obviously go step by step for those that would want to try it, how to do it.
How to make magic viable in a couple simple steps, or better. It's viable. It's basically dark casting, but you don't have to turn around and you don't have to cast it and then lock on. That's basically it. You do it by the exact same way that you would buff any unbuffable weapon, except, for example, I've got my staff in my right hand, so I would have to press the right trigger and bumpers. As you can see, I just casted Fair and Dart, and I insta-casted Affinity. You can do this with stuff like Fair and Hail. I didn't get it. There you go. So with spells like Fair and Hail, because it's technically shooting out 2 different projectiles, you can shoot 2 Great Soul Dregs, 2 Chaos Bed Messages, etc.
Okay.
I was trying to do this Fair and Flash Sword into Lightning Storm, but some spells just don't have an animation, and so it doesn't work.
Okay, now let me ask you this.
see.
Okay, so you casted 2 deep drags or deep souls here just a second ago.
Yep.
How is the damage? Does this thing increase damage of spells at all?
No. Your spells are just basically the exact same. They scale off whatever you've got. I'll try and, you can dodge it just as easily as a normal, if I can get it. You can dodge it just as easily as a normal, I can't get it. I should mention that casting with Fair and Hail is much more difficult. It's because of the timing of it. I was surprised I got it on my first or second attempt, but it would basically be like me shooting, because they come out right after one another. You'd probably be able to dodge both of them with one dodge, if I could ever time it right. There we go.
Oh, damn.
So,
I got caught there. That was my fault. But, okay, now, and then you said, so it's basically like the dark casting, but you don't have to turn around. So,
Yep.
timing with this thing also matters. So, depending on the spell
Yes.
that you're using as a catalyst, it will be easier or a little harder, right?
Well, with Fair and Hail, it is proved to be the most difficult, which, once again, I think the game has a funny way of balancing itself. when these glitches are found, because Fair and Hail, I'm obviously able to shoot 2 projectiles at you right after another. I could fire 2 Wave-White Coronas, 2 Chaos Bed Vestiges, 2 Crystal Soul Spears. But as a result, the timing on Fair and Hail is much more difficult to do than if I were to just do like Fair and Dart into Affinity.
Okay,
You know?
I see. Now, and you mentioned like, okay, yeah, so like you insta cast that. You mentioned, you
Yep.
know, that this makes, I guess, if you will, magic more viable. So
Yeah.
it's similar to the weapon buffs. If you got friends that you guys want to do that with, then go ahead. But if you see somebody obviously in the fight club, just pretty much attack them. Don't let them do that. It's stupid. Ganks, I guess every gank here and there will have a mage. So do you think that that's something that people should expect if they see like a mage in a fucking gank squad, that they're gonna be doing that?
Considering mages and gank squads are usually the worst players, no, because I don't feel like they would be able to come to understanding how to press 3 buttons at the same time. All they know is right bumper for Crystal Soul Spear.
Okay, I see. Now, I guess the second question is, so like, you know, you're doing it here. I guess it would be the same thing in arena, guys. If you go into arena, watch out if you see somebody doing it, because correct me if I'm wrong, if you go in a duel, don't you get like 5 Eshinestas, right?
In the arena, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So guys, be wary, especially of people that are spellcasting, because yeah, that you get, if you go in the arena, you get literally 5 Eshinestas, so they could be doing that quite a bit. So that's definitely interesting. So have you? So I guess I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna say, I've said this before. I've definitely experienced this already in arena. I've experienced this when invading. There were gang squads, weapon buffing, and in fight clubs. You know, you gotta equip the. You gotta make sure you have the dual charm, and just, my opinion, you should just gank the person that's doing a fight club, unless. Like I said, unless this, you know, you guys are friends and you guys are coming in with that mindset, like, hey, we're gonna be messed around with shit. I understand that, but overall, yeah, just be aware of it. Yeah. So somebody in the chat sees Scary Monkey. Yeah, I know. That's what people are gonna be doing. They're gonna be bringing in healing spells
Well, I
into
mean,
the arena,
the fact
because
that healing
that's what it
spells and
is. Yeah.
1v1s were even allowed in the arena in the first place is why I don't play the arena. Because it's a terrible
Well,
decision.
the thing is though, you're right. I wonder if they could basically just exclude specific spells if they wanted
They
to, right?
100%
I mean, I'm sure.
could. They just
Yeah,
don't
so
do
it-
it because they want to make a bad game.
Yeah, so I know in Dark Souls 2 they were allowed, but Dark Souls 2 was a completely different game. PvP was more balanced, is still more balanced than in this game, I think. And but yeah, I think if they
Red
if
Fool's
they took out
joking,
the
Scary
heal,
Monkey, you need to pull your tampon out.
yeah, I think if they took out the healing spells, if they took out the healing spells from the arena, if I went into the arena and I saw somebody doing that, Dixon, like you were, I'd just run up and backstab him or just basically hit him, because
Well, it
then
depends
I'm
on how
not
good they
worried
are
that,
at it. Because I think that
yeah,
if I keep practicing this, I could make legitimate use of it in duels.
I see.
But you know, some spells
I
don't even work together because I tried using Fair and Flash Sword into Lightning Storm, and my staff had electricity on it, and that was the only thing that happened. I've tried, what was it? I've tried stuff like, for some reason, Fair and Dart into White Dragon Breath. Nothing happens. Some spells just flat out go invisible.
Okay, so that's the other thing I was gonna
And they
ask. So
make your
so
staff
there
look
are
cool for a second.
combinations. Okay, so
It
there are
does,
combination of
yes,
spells
there are
that
things
don't
that
work.
do not work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just brought a few in here
Okay.
to show. But
Okay.
personally, this is my favorite part of the glitch because it's not like it's unbalanced because you actually have to be able to use whatever spell you're trying to cast, and you know, unlike what is it? Unlike buffing a unbuffable weapon, your spells are going to be like they're not exactly the most reliable thing to hit people with as opposed to like a legitimate weapon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think you can come up with some cool combinations, and I'm probably going to take this into fight clubs, the spell casting thing.
Okay, so that's the other thing. So, like I said, so now implications of this. So obviously you have a caster character, you
Yes.
know. So like you mentioned, so you're gonna take this into duels. Are you expecting a host and others to potentially gank you if they see you doing that?
No.
Why not?
Uh, because if they're losing to a pure caster, like, as soon as they see me do it once, they're gonna realize, okay, he has a chance of doing this to me. And if I fuck it up, Jesus Christ, God forbid they take 54 damage from a Farron dart. And if I do it right, then it's not like I can swap a spell that's 2 slots away. It has to be the very next spell in my list. So as soon as they see me do it once, they're gonna, realize, okay, watch for that animation. If they're any decent at the game whatsoever, or like can pay attention to anything. Unless they have the most
Okay.
severe case of ADHD recorded, they're gonna like be able to expect it a second time if I can pull it off.
Right, but this is basically it's basically, you know, a spell version of like weapon buffing, obviously without the AR. But
Mm,
this basically increases the speed of the animation speed, right? So if you go to cast something, it can do it quicker, right? Is that correct?
yeah, so like I could Farron dart and instant cast Affinity as opposed to waiting for it to like actually pop up.
Okay. All right. So this is interesting, guys. So because like Dixon just said that he would not expect to get ganked, whereas like if I saw somebody doing that, like if I see somebody cast 2 deep souls with one, I'd go in there and gank if I'm the host, or even the summon. I'd just go in there and start wrecking the fool, because I still think that in a duel it doesn't belong, unless like I said, I get summoned to a fight club, or I'm doing a fight club and we go and we up front say, hey, this is for fun, guys. Let's mess around with these glitches and blah blah blah. So I understand that, but like if I saw this in the legit fight club, or if it was happening in my fight club, I definitely would gank that person, because I don't think that in a
Well,
regular
what do you
like
think's
duel it belongs
worse,
there.
a pure caster trying to make his build more viable, or someone two-shotting people with a crystal moonlight greatsword?
Well, the I guess the latter of the two, but they're still doing the same thing. The only difference is the spell guy is using the spell
Hmm.
glitch, whereas the other guy is using the weapon buff glitch.
But
So I mean,
not all
they
spells work. I can't instant cast lightning storm. I
right. I
can't.
understand that,
What would be the most
but
broken example I could think of?
for
I
example,
can't
like the
hold a crystal soul spear with like lightning arrow.
right. Correct. Yeah, that would be stupid. Yes, but still, I still think that there's no room for it in a legit fight club. Period. I don't care what what argument people want to make, because it still does. For example, increases the speed of your casting. So if your spell was going to take
Hmm.
this many seconds, now it's doing it slightly faster. And instead of shooting one soul drag, you're shooting two. That's why I don't think it belongs. Just like somebody weapon buffing a Black Knight Ultra Greatsword, you know, that doesn't belong in a regular fight club.
So you're
If you
saying
guys are doing it
if
for
I
fun,
fair inhaled 2 great soul dregs at you, you wouldn't be able to dodge it?
well, I mean, maybe, but I'd be like, the very first time I'd see it, I would be very, very fucking kind of weirded out by it. In fact, you casted it right here, and I knew you were doing something, and I got caught by both of them because the animation to me looked so fucking weird, even though it's just 2 soul dregs, that it like threw me off. So like if I was in a
Okay.
legit fight club and somebody did that, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed because I took probably almost 50% damage of my health pool from those 2 soul drags. So yeah, I'd be pretty pissed if that happened to me in a fight club. That's why I don't think it belongs in a fight club. Yeah, no. Not in a legit fight club. Like I said, if you guys are doing it for fun and everyone's like casting, they're all trying it out, I can understand that. But not like a legit fight club where you're trying to say, hey, I'm pretty good with this build, I'm gonna fight you on your build and let's see who's got better skills, blah blah blah, and then somebody does that, or weapon buffs an ultra greatsword and then catches you with an RB, follow up and you die because they do 1200 damage in 2 hits. That's not right. So yeah, that's what I think about it.
I think Saint Riot summed it up pretty well. What I think of the glitch, it's basically going to be as powerful as your creative, and the spells are more limited because with the weapons you can buff anything, but with spells, certain
Right.
combos don't work.
Right. So you're right about
And
that you do have more
The other thing
limitations,
is,
but
while I can speed up the casting speed of Crystal Soul Spear, I cannot increase the projectile speed. So
okay, yeah. So it still comes
Crystal
out at
Soul
the same
Spear is
time,
gonna
but
fire at you at the exact same speed as it would if I casted it normally. And I guarantee
Okay.
you could dodge it.
yeah, I mean that's Crystal Soul Spear, but I mean still, like I said, overall, I don't think it belongs in a legit fight club. It doesn't. There's a reason why it's a glitch. Just like the boss invasions, I understand that doesn't belong in the game, and for those of you that you could say that, hey, that is cheating, and I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, I understand it, but at least you have ways to kind of like prevent it. You can Black Crystal the white purple, you can play offline, whatnot. So to me, out of the 3 glitches, that's the one I like personally, and I'm okay with it. And I've said this before, I would be 100% okay with it if I started a new character, which by the way, I will be starting a new character. I've already told this to my friends because I need to min-max one of my guys. I will be starting a new character. I will be summoning everybody, and guess what? I am going to have dry fingers, and I'm going to even post it everywhere. By all means, go ahead and boss invade me, because it's going to make my run fun, because I hate PvE in this game. By the way, guys, you can go ahead and fight. I'm going to start summoning people for fight clubs. So yeah, go ahead and fight, yep. Red, you want to... I don't know if Red is still here, or just go. Somebody
We
else
should
go.
hear everyone else's opinions of the glitches.
Yeah, I am.
after
I am.
my
I am. I'm gonna. Yeah, I am
lengthy
gonna do that. I just want to
demonstration.
kind of. Yeah, I just want to kind of like say a couple more like closing arguments really quick, and the one thing is, like I said, guys, just be aware of those things. If you don't like them, be prepared, like Dixon was saying, to basically punish people. If you go in a fight club and the host allows it, make sure you have dual charms for weapons. If you see them cast that, like Dixon said, they could fuck it up. Make sure you're on them so you can punish them. If you're getting white purple invaded, you can black crystal out the person. So just remember, you can black crystal out the person. Don't run away. Don't disconnect. Just black crystal out the person. Okay. The other thing is, what I wanted to say really quick was, as far as arena goes, guys, arena, like Dixon was saying this before, when I would go into arena, I've run into a lot of bad people. To me, arena was just a spot to basically, try new things without having to waste an ember. Honestly, that's what I end up treating arena with. And I will say this, guys, and I don't know if I will say this really quick about arena. If you don't know this, I used to 2v2 with one of my friends, and a couple of my other friends, a lot in the old school arena before the password matchmaking. If you guys haven't known this, I'm sure, like I said, if you played arena in 2v2 or 3v3s, with the latest update, guys, if you go into arena and you put your password and you want to fight like other teams, just be aware that the game will match you up against other people looking for teams, meaning you can run into people that are 800. It's happened to me a lot with Dixon when me and him would go into the arena. We've run into people that were 500, 600, 700 levels, and then these guys would try to tell us that that basically they're getting nerfed, so it's not that big of a deal, which is a bunch of BS. It is a big of a deal. It does make a difference. So don't try to tell me that if you're level 700 and you're going in an arena with your level 120 meta friend, that you guys don't have the advantage, because at level 700 you can literally cast everything and you got unlimited poise and all kinds of sorts of those. You can have 3 weapons equipped. You can do all sorts of stuff. So don't tell me that. The other thing is, as far as the glitches go, guys, and I'm gonna ask your opinions here in a sec. So I'll go one by one, so you don't have to, so we don't talk over one another. But I wanted to say a couple other things, guys. History shows that From Software will patch it. Okay, so if you are enjoying this, if you want to try these, great. I will tell you right now, enjoy them, because From will patch it. Now, From doesn't care about this game as much, basically, because they got their other subjects. I mean, alright, sorry about that, guys. My mic cut off. Anyways, yeah, From doesn't care about this game as much, balancing this game as much, because they're involved in the new games. So this will definitely get patched, for sure. But it probably, my guess is it's gonna take them like a month, if not more. Judging based on history and how long it took them to do other patches, it was, I think, around a few weeks. Granted, at that time you had a bunch of people that would whine about it. Now you don't. So that's why I think it's gonna take maybe a month or so. So if you want to like take advantage of them, you know, you want to have some fun, whatever the case may be, whether it's fight clubbing with friends with boss weapons that you can buff, or boss invading, which is my personal favorite, or spell swapping like Dixon's saying his favorite. Have fun with that now. Because unfortunately it's gonna get patched. But interesting topic that Dix and I were discussing. Clearly, to me, guys, the fact that this is the 3rd time someone's discovered a glitch like that, this is definitely the most, I guess, not necessarily documentation, but basically the most confirmation we could get that From Software was planning some of these things to be in a game in certain extent. Maybe boss invading was a thing in certain boss areas. Maybe it was gonna be exclusive to mod makers, for example, and you had to do something. The point is that some of this stuff, it's in the game because it was there to begin with. Maybe in a different form, and people are accessing it through a glitch. But still, I mean, you can't tell me that they didn't.
Dude.
They didn't make something, you know, without thinking that, hey, we don't know where these boss invasions came from. What's up?
I really hate to cut you off, but it's been like 40 minutes, and there's like 6 other people in the party who have had their mics muted the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, while I understand, you know, you're twitching it, you should really, like, give the other people in here a chance to say something, because otherwise there's just no point in them being
No,
here.
I know. Trust me, I know. And they're already fight clubbing, so I just want that was my closing argument. I just wanted to tell people that, hey, if you're enjoying it, enjoy it. If you don't like it, avoid arena. If you go in a fight club and they're all doing it, just leave the fight club. If you're invading and you run into gang squads that are doing this, change your area, you know, or don't invade for 10 minutes so you catch someone else's world. The point is, there's ways to avoid it. Boss invading. If you're getting boss invaded, you don't like that, go. Or black crystal people out. All right.
You done?
Guys, I'm gonna go.
Your mic keeps cutting out. You guys can just unmute your mics and
Hello.
Ghost. What's up? I'll just go down the party list. I don't know what Derek's doing, but Ghost, if you're there, why don't you tell us your opinion of the spellcast swap glitch, the boss invasion, and the what's it called? The weapon buff glitches. And if he's
I'm
not there,
here,
we'll
and
okay.
well, as for the spell buff glitch, when I first saw it, I was amazed because I've never seen or heard about it recently, and I think that's about it for that. As for the boss invasions, that may get annoying sometimes, but at the same time it would be interesting because usually you would get invaded before you will face a boss, so I think it would be fun and at the same time annoying.
Okay.
What do you
And
think
as
about
for
the
I'm
weapon
dead.
buff glitch being overpowered? Or what do you think about like the balancing part of
overpowered.
it?
Well, it depends on the weapon because recently there was a player that I fought that did the buff. It was a spear and it had a lightning buff. And the player wasn't able to beat me. And besides that, I hadn't encountered anyone with that glitch. So I did not get any more experience from that. But if I were to encounter someone that's using an ultra, then I may have a harder time.
Okay.
Depending on, you know, what their build is.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry.
And
Sorry.
what about the spell swap thing? What do you think of that?
Hard to say.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, guys. Yeah, my mic did cut out.
No,
So
that's
appreciate
fine.
appreciate Dixon taking the lead there. So I'm gonna go one by one. By the way, guys, for those of you that are watching, we are resuming the Fight Club. So if you want to get summoned, just drop your red sign. Password is lowercase podcast, and I'll definitely pick you up as soon as spot opens up. Go ahead, resume your take on it, Ghost, and I'll just go down the line from guys so that everybody can share their opinion. And
Well, for the
yeah, we were talking about the spell glitch now.
yeah, the cast switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have not made a build that solely relies on spells, pyromancy, or miracles, but I say that's an interesting glitch. And actually, that's about it.
Okay, so obviously, so you don't really mess around with spells, right? I don't think I've ever seen you like on a spellcaster build, right?
Nope.
Okay, so you mentioned, like you said, boss invasions are kind of cool, kind of annoying, and then I'm not sure what you said about the weapons buff glitch, but because I wasn't here, but what is your opinion as far as, like, okay, let's say you go into arena and you see or Fight Club and you see a spellcaster doing that. Would you be like, oh, whatever, or would that be something that necessarily would bother you, like, hey, he's doing this, I'm, for example, using my Farron Greatsword, and I'm not putting, let's say, fire buff on it, which I could, because, you know, I'm not doing that. So what is your opinion on that, as far as if you were to encounter it in the arena or in a Fight Club?
Alright, well, if that person actually does that, I wouldn't give a crap. I would actually see how I will do against that. And if I win, I win. I lose, I lose. And
Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right. That's fair. Okay. So I think that you gave your opinion on all three. So I'm gonna move on to the next person. So Leviathan, if you can please share your opinions on that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You have been aware of this glitch before, right? And you've like
Yeah.
tested it, or so. Okay. So it's not like
I have
okay,
not
this was-
tested it, I have not used it, but I've been aware of it from the second Prod released the video.
Okay, alright, so, and obviously this is as similar as the previous glitches, it's just that it's done differently. So, give me your opinion on the unbuffable weapons glitch first. What do you think about that? And then we'll go kind of about, you know, with the other two subjects, and kind of, you know, move on to the next people. So yeah, tell me your opinion on that.
So let's see. Earlier today, someone buffed a Frayed Blade with Dark Blade and two-shot me. So,
Okay.
I'm not exactly happy about it.
Okay.
To say the least. But
And
yes, you can get a lot of damage from your weapons, but that's more damage that you're not supposed to be getting. In most cases, they're unbuffable for a reason.
right. And then, okay, so you mentioned, like, the damage, obviously. And you ran into... Okay, what about if you were to see this in a, fight club or arena? I mean, would that be pretty... I mean, would that be pretty much, like, that's not something that you think is legit, and it shouldn't be allowed?
Not at all.
Okay. What about, like, invading, you know, like, and you see somebody do that, for example, they got an overleveled Phantom that's running around with the DMB'd Lidos, for example, or whatever.
So I've been invading
Mhm.
on a regular basis on PlayStation for the last, like, 2 weeks straight. I have found one Phantom in a gang squad that used it, period, let alone tried to use it.
Okay.
I've seen a lot more invaders do it than I have gankers.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, you know, playing on a PlayStation. Could it be because obviously the PlayStation base is the highest out of all the, you know, the consoles and PC? So you have a lot bigger player base, and at the same time, a lot of people on PlayStation, maybe they don't look for glitches as much because you have much bigger player base, so they can like play the game the correct way and whatnot. I mean, could that be the reason why?
I've been invading at a high level. The particular build I've been invading with is currently level 238.
Okay.
So, yes, PlayStation has a larger player base, but the specific ranges that I can invade, not so much. It's not uncommon for me to invade the same person 5 or 6 times in a row before I
Okay.
find someone new.
Okay, now let me ask you this, because I've always said this before. I think at around meta level, you do have better players. So if you were to invade around like meta, do you think you would come across, I guess, better players that might be more willing to use that, or not? I mean, I don't know how things are on PlayStation, but I'm just thinking, like, you know, from Xbox perspective.
My opinion, better players don't need to use it, so they don't use it.
Okay. Okay.
That's why I don't use it. I don't need it most of the time.
All right. Okay. That's fair. What about the boss invasions? Have you tried them? What do you feel about them? Whether you're...
Boss invasion should have already been a part of the game. It
Okay.
should have been part of the Mound Makers.
Okay, so you're totally for it, basically, right?
Yeah. It
Okay.
should have been a default thing for the Mound Makers. The fact that it wasn't there to begin with just... I don't know. Mound Makers felt like there wasn't much point to them. With boss invasions, there is a legitimate choice that you can make.
Okay. Now, if you guys remember when the game launched, obviously, I had no idea what the fuck the purple signs were. So I remember summoning a white purple, thinking like, oh, this dude's gonna help me, and I kind of went forward to the level, and I wasn't paying attention. Well, I got invaded by a red, and I had Way of Blue on, because I didn't know what covenants were doing what yet at that time. And a blue got summoned, and that white purple ended up killing my blue, so he returned home, and that's when I knew. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that this guy could. So I should be aware of it. But I know early on, when the game launched, a lot of people that were just starting out with the game, they definitely got conned by the white purples. And I thought at that time that the white purples were there specifically like a wild card to kind of like give people like an option like, hey, if you want to make this run fun, you can summon this white purple. He could help you, but he could also backstab you. That's what I thought was the purpose of it. With all these boss invading glitches, it makes me think that maybe there was something in game files for it, for this covenant, that maybe allowed, that it was intended to allow mount makers to maybe do that. Or maybe if you were to summon a mount maker, they would go in the boss fight with you. Maybe that was the intended game mechanic and they scrapped it last minute. Either way, I 100% agree with you. And like I said, I'm on both sides of the coin. If you invade me and I'm fighting a boss, I'm okay with it. If I invade you and you're fighting a boss, I believe you should be okay with it. If not, then Black Crystal me out. I mean, that's what I think. So yeah. So that's interesting. And what about the spell swap? Can you give us your feedback on the spell swap? What do you think about that?
I didn't know about it at all until today. I knew about it in the previous version of the glitch, but a little different. I didn't know that it was back. I have not seen anyone use it. I've not seen anyone attempt to use it.
Okay. And now, you said you obviously knew about that this thing existed from previous, and what Dixon was saying, that previously this was known as the dark casting, right? When you would turn around and okay. So that's interesting. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay.
But I don't think it should be allowed in fight clubs. Shouldn't be allowed in fair fights because okay, he said that it doesn't change the speed of the projectile, but casting speed is equally as important. If you're expecting something to come out faster or slower than it does, you're gonna mistime your roll and get hit with it. I can't tell you how many times I've died because I've been fighting a caster that takes off their sage ring, fires it slower, and I mistime my roll because of it.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a good point. Okay, so interesting. And then, do you have any mage builds? So like I said, so if you were speaking from like mage's perspective, do you have any mage builds, or
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. So
I have a pyromancer, and he kind of does everything.
okay. All right. So it's interesting. A take from someone that obviously uses spells too. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask Mike. Mike, if you can give us your opinion on the first portion of the glitch, which is the unbuffable weapons buff. What do you think about that? Have you seen it yet? What's your take on that in honorable duels, whether it's arena or fight clubs, or you invade and you see a bunch of gankers trying to use that? Give us your take on that. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, and then have you the previous unbuffable weapon glitches and like the boss invasions? You obviously were aware of the previous ones. Did you try those? I think you did the boss. I don't remember if you did boss invasions. I think I was telling you the very first time it came out, and I think you were like into Arc a lot, and so I don't know if you took advantage of the boss invasions, but I think you might have done something with the buff glitches. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Now, what's your... Okay. So, for example, like, if you saw it in a fight club or, like, arena, I mean, would you be okay with it? Or would you be like, man, this shit shouldn't be here, blah, blah, blah. Right. Okay, that's interesting. All right. What about the boss invasions? Okay, so you know boss invasions are a thing. I know you make a lot of invade videos. By the way, if you want to tell the viewers your YouTube channel, by all means, go ahead. If they want to check out your page, I need to link you to my YouTube channel as well. Which, by the way, guys, I guess I forgot to say, if you are just joining the Twitch, you can check out the whole feed in my past Twitch broadcast. I will be uploading it to YouTube. My YouTube channel is just Darth Derek. It's separate, DARTH, and the D's are capitalized. And then, Mike, what's your YouTube channel? I forget exactly. I got you saved, so I don't remember the name of it. What is it? What's your YouTube channel? I don't know if he's having the mic issues. Let's give him a few seconds. Okay, there you go. Alright, so, like I was saying, yeah, so give me your take on boss invasions. Is that something you will be doing now? Whether it's for videos or not, or just for fun? Give me your take on that. What do you think about boss invasions?
Yeah, I've been experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been.
Okay. And that's as far as the invadee. I mean invader. What if you were the invadee? What do you think about that?
How long it
Right, right. So it's a little more yeah, so it's basically adding a little more flavor to the soup. Okay, I get it. Okay, that's cool. I like that. All right, what about the latest portion of the glitch, which is the spell swapping? What do you think about that?
I myself haven't gotten
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay. Okay. All right. That's I like that. All right, and then let me see. I think we got everybody's covered except and our newcomer for this week, which is Red. Red, you got your audio included for?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay, can you
Yeah,
check?
I got it included.
Okay, cool. So so yeah, give me your take on these glitches, starting with the unbuffable weapon glitch. What do you think about that? Have you seen it yet? In the Fight Club or arena? Have you experienced it like an invasion? What do you think about that? Give me your opinion.
Well, I think unbuffable weapons should be just that, unbuffable. I mean, if they weren't designed to be buffed, then obviously with the buff they're too strong. So I think that's a little bullshit, but you know, it's part of the game now, you gotta deal with it. I mean, the best thing to do is use some dual charms. That's what I've been doing.
Right.
As far as it goes, most people who use it aren't too good, as far as I've seen. There's been a couple exceptions to that, But you know, I mean, for any builds that have under 1,000 health, I think it's way too unfair to them. Like, because if they make one mistake, they're dead pretty much. That's how I feel about that. I mean, as far as it goes for me though, it's not too bad since I have a lot of health for this build. But for other people like casters or glass cannons and such, it's kind of fucked up.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you've seen it. So you've seen it like what, in fight clubs, arenas, or invasions? Where is it that you've seen it?
I've seen it mostly in fight clubs, and I've also seen a lot of hosts who just seem to be okay with it, or they don't understand what's going on, because it's
Okay.
still pretty new, you know.
So have you? So let me ask you this. So have you seen it in a so have you seen, for example, somebody do that in a fight club, and then maybe even if the host wasn't into it, have you seen anybody else jump in and maybe want to gank that person that was doing it, or would people just do it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
People just deal with it. They just watch.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. All right. What about boss invasions? From the invader and invadee perspective.
I think it should have been part of the game, because the biggest thing I hate about invading is I'll have someone who'll go into a fog wall just to get rid of me. That
Right.
is the most annoying thing I've ever had to deal with, and
Right,
I'm
and-
really glad that you can do that now.
And actually, it's funny. Dixon and I were just talking about this a couple days ago, and I don't remember. I think that was one of his strong points, right, Dixon? You mentioned that you like the boss invasions for that very reason. You invade somebody. You know, he's got 3 phantoms. You kill all his phantoms, and then that guy, like a bitch, runs to the boss. I've seen that happen to me. I've seen people go to Crystal Sage boss, and you guys know how you can walk in a little bit, and then you still don't activate the boss fight. I literally was stalking this guy for 15 minutes with bombs because I killed his buddies, and he would just walk back in and out, hoping that I would either get bored or leave, and I would just chuck bombs at him and try to kill him that way. Eventually, he ended up rolling too much into the fight club. I mean, into the arena, and he ended up triggering the boss fight, which sent me home. But for that reason, that shit does piss me off. I think the fact that people can do that you invade somebody, you kill 2 of their phantoms, and then these bitches run to boss fight just to get rid of you. I think the fact that you can invade as a purple white and actually catch them in the boss room, I think it's great. Oh, guys, for example, here. This guy invaded me as a Mad Spirit. I guarantee you, if I was to get him into this chat, I'd ask him, hey, were you trying to boss invade? And he probably would say yes. He just failed his boss invasion because the timing is so difficult to pull off. But I will say this, I've been going into some areas, and I'm getting like ashes or whatever. I'm gonna fight the invader, by the way. Give him a chance to get his reward. Cass, can you point the invader into the arena? So I've definitely no, get out. Just point the invader, please. I've definitely got invaded by more, like I said, more people that were purple, and I could tell that they were trying the glitch, and I found it very funny. And I was okay with it, and I even spammed force at some invaders just to show them that I was doing the same thing. And I think it's you know, it's pretty cool. I think it's also kind of bringing people back to the game. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed if that at all or not. Have you guys noticed that?
I haven't seen too much of that. I mean, I think the population's still about the same.
Yeah, but do you think that that there's a little more people? Because I've noticed more invasions. So, for example, when I go into area that I haven't
people playing the game again. That just means there's more people trying to invade again.
Okay, yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe I misworded that. So, but because more people are trying to invade, for example, don't you guys think that that's kind of good, because it's kind of sparking more invasions, which is good for the PvP aspect, you know? Even if they fail an invasion, it's like, why Black Crystal out? You might as well go and try to fight the host, right? I mean, that's what I've been doing. When I invade as a purple and I fail, I'll just run straight to the wherever the host is, and he may have phantoms, and I'll just try to kill as many of them as I can to get my shackles so I can get out and get another boss invasion on. So, um, so you're right, Dixon. It's probably more not so much that it's bringing more people as far as there's more people invading, but I think overall that's a good thing. I think if you have anything that increases PvP in this game, I think is a good thing. So I think that that's cool. But I do like your perspective. So have you? Personally, have you tried that? By the way, have you tried that? Have you tried
Boss
boss
invading?
invading?
No,
Yes.
not yet.
Okay, is that something you will be trying?
No, that's not really my thing. I don't like it. I don't have a problem with other people doing it though. It's just, I don't know, it's not really fun for me. I prefer just a one-on-one fight.
Okay. All right. That's cool. And when it comes to previous glitches, have you done like the previous glitches before when they were around, like the previous boss invasions or the buffable weapons?
I did dark casting. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And I'm actually glad it's back, just because I don't think sorcerers are viable like at all without dark casting. I think they're pretty much damn near useless unless you're really good at the game. You know, it's such like a skill cap on it. You have to be a certain level of skill to actually be good as a sorcerer. So I think dark casting is a good thing. I'm glad to see it back.
I know Dixon's gonna agree with you, and I will say this: I hate mages. I hate magic. However, I will say this: if you're you really have to be skilled as a mage to make that build viable. It's definitely difficult in this game to be a mage. So I agree with you. I guess when you put it that way, I guess I'd have to fight some mages and see them do that for me to, I guess, make a more accurate opinion on whether how I feel about swap casting. But I do agree with you that you have to be very skilled to be a mage. That mages are high skill builds. Like you can't be a noob or even a moderate person and then simply just create a caster and expect to be good. So I do agree with that. What about okay, so do you have a mage build? Because you mentioned obviously like the dark casting. Do you have a mage build that you've done it before that you're looking forward to the recent swap casting buff? Is that why you mentioned
Yeah,
it?
I do. I have my one from when the dark casting originally came out that I haven't touched since they patched it. Probably gonna get on that later. But I don't know. Dark casting like adds a whole new fun thing to it. I think like it's not only is it well, I mean it's pretty much still dark casting, right? Just without the lock on, isn't it?
It's harder to do because I've been just sitting in Firelink Shrine and timing the buttons and whatnot. Like dark casting, I'm pretty sure you just had to like turn around and switch spells and lock on right in the middle of casting it. Whereas this, you can stay locked on, but it's a matter of pressing all the buttons at the right time. This to me feels harder than dark casting.
Right.
I haven't tried it yet, but I have seen it like in a couple of one-on-one matches that I've done, and I don't think it gives them too much of an advantage after you see it the first time. The first one will probably catch you by surprise, and then after that you're like, oh, they're dark casting,
Okay, now
you gotta learn to avoid it.
let me ask you this, Dixon. If you fail the casting swap, what happens? Do you still cast this?
You either stare at your staff like a complete moron, or you hold up, I'm trying to fight. You either stare at your staff, or you will just cast whatever spell you try to cast.
Okay. Okay, I see. So like the basic spell might still come out, or like you said, you stare at the staff, you get that animation. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, here's what I feel. You guys remember a few patches ago they had the glitch, what the fuck was it called? The shield skipping glitch. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay, I loved shield skipping glitch. I think it made heavy weapons more viable, and I guess here's what I would change my mind about the spell kit. By the way, hey Ostrich, if you're watching this, you don't need to chug. Nobody here chugs. You don't need to like empty your Estus. But okay. Anyways, shield skipping, I thought was an excellent glitch. I think it was super viable on ultra weapons like the heavy weapons, great hammers, great axes, because it gave them a additional option that would mess with people's timing. And I guess that's to me that's kind of equivalent to what you guys are talking about, the dark casting. And I guess I'd be okay with the dark casting, absolutely, if shield skipping was still around. Because I think the shield skipping is like the melee advantage. I mean, the melee version of the spell swapping. Where guess what? If I fucked up shield skipping, I would end up doing a long animation for, let's say, stomp, or I would run past somebody like an idiot, and I could get potentially backstabbed. So I think that if shield skipping was a thing, if they left that alone, I would be 100% okay with spell swapping. But that's my opinion. But God, we've been talking for almost an hour and a half about this. If anybody else in the chat wants to add anything, I'm gonna move on to the next subject really quick. I'm just gonna give it a couple minutes. Leviathan or anybody else, do you guys have Mike on your friends list? He just sent me a message that his...
Don't think so.
Okay. Ghost, do you have Mike on your friends list?
I don't think so.
Alright, that's fine. I'll see if I can invite him really quick. While I'm waiting for chat.
You know what would really spice up this whole fight club?
Hmm.
Is if we got Midget Man in here.
Who's Midget Man?
The guy who says that fire bombs aren't honorable.
That's fine. Just tell him the password, but I don't want him in the party. If that's
No,
what
he
he's
blocked
saying.
me.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Alright, well, okay, so I don't see anything from chat, so I'm just gonna move on to the next subject. And I guess the next subject is kind of related to this, but, and we kind of touched up on it, but, you know, Dix and I were talking about this. There's no way From Software did not have some prototype of these glitches, especially for boss invading, in the early stages of the game making, because there's no way that people just randomly
fucking dishonorable.
found
Shit.
randomly found the glitch, right? And then the glitch has been found 2 more times after its initial discovery. I mean, there's no way that like From Software didn't have something similar planned. I mean, there's no way. And Dixon, you and I, obviously we talked about this, and I think, like, what makes me upset about this is if Mound Makers had this ability to boss, for example, go with your host into the boss room if they
Oh
were
my god.
invaded. Hey Red, do me a favor, if you're fighting, if you can mute yourself.
Derek,
If-
it's not that big
If
a deal.
yes it is. It interrupts.
He said one.
Yeah.
Okay, you interrupt like 5 people, but
Yes, but I try to.
Whatever.
I try not to. By the way, somebody got unable to summon, so just redrop your sign. But as I was saying, so to me, in my opinion, this, like for example, there has to have been something similar to this boss invading 4 purples that was meant for purples. You know, when they originally came out with the idea of the Covenant. And what makes me upset about this game is this game, if they left some of this stuff and then just polished it instead of taking it out because they felt, oh, the new players are not gonna be happy with it. I feel like a lot of these decisions, and I'm gonna get you guys' opinions, but I feel like a lot of the decisions they end up making, whether it's for removing content or adding, subtracting things, were made for 2 reasons. 1, to make this game noob friendly, okay, and 2, by making this game noob friendly, to basically sell as many copies. And the boss invading glitch, I think, is one of them. The other thing is from previous games, this stupid mechanic that you when you invade, you prioritize the worlds that have dry finger and multiple phantoms in. You know, it's not like that in any other Souls game, and I think a lot of these changes that they made or they put in the game were done to, like I said, to help noobs out, and by that sell more copies. And that's what I want to kind of discuss if you guys have seen anything else that we've kind of touched upon it recently, or that you might have seen that you might have thought, hey, maybe this was maybe this was part of a design, but they scrapped it. And Boston Invasion is one of them. The invading as a basically invading and then having to be pulled into worlds that prioritize ganks essentially, versus single hosts.
It's a good one, Red.
What about here's another one, guys. And Dixon, I think you talked about this.
What?
The having overleveled phantoms. In every other Souls game, it is difficult to summon people after a certain level range. In this game, it's not. You could be a host at meta and summon 800 level phantoms with a simple password. And I do believe that shit was made so that people that can't play this game themselves can co-op with their 800 level friends. And by the way, on top of it, in case you do get invaded, you'll have your 2 overleveled phantoms to back you up. So those are, I guess, that's, and like I said, next time we kind of talked about this, and I want to kind of ask you guys' opinions on some other things that you might have seen that maybe you think were originally part of the game mechanic, but then they took it out for whatever reason. And I'm gonna start with well, who's not fighting? So I'm gonna start with you, Dixon. And I know I took already the one idea that we were talking about. So tell me something else you might have seen that maybe was part of the game or would have been cool if it was part of the game, but obviously they took it out for whatever reason.
Well, I wanted to quickly, you stole most of it, but I wanted to quickly say that my opinion on the whole password summoning level 800 phantoms as a soul level 15 thing is complete bullshit and completely unfair to the game and other players invading you. The fact that Dark Souls 3 is supposed to be a difficult game, or the Dark Souls series is known for its difficulty, but allows you to summon people to your world that can one-shot bosses, is complete and utter bullshit. I think password summoning should increase the level range by like 0.5 or whatever, and they could have factored something into it to do with covenants. For example, as a mound maker, a mound maker could turn on you, and so their level range might be increased. But yeah, it's fucking complete bullshit for both, like invaders, I'm over here trying to deal with this host who's complete dog shit at the game, while he's got his level 700 plus friend who can two-shot me with any he can
GG.
play like roulette in his inventory, and any weapon he picks is gonna like two-shot me, or any spell in his 12 spell slots can two-shot me. And it's just extremely unfair that I have to deal with people who are clearly worse than me, but they're gonna win because of the fact that they just have overleveled phantoms to carry them. And then what'd you say, and also the fact that me and Derek, or me and anyone, I'm a 150 and Derek will be on his 140, and just because we're using a password, the game still matches us up with level 8, 600-700s, and it's just not a fair or fun fight, because we're trying to dodge fireballs that can insta-kill us while dodging weapons that can insta-kill us, and there's essentially just no way we can win unless we're miles ahead in skill of the people we're fighting.
Right, and
then
guys,
what was the other thing you said,
well, here, let me cut you off real quick. For those of you that are wondering, he's talking about the arena. He's talking about the arena, guys, which is what I mentioned earlier. If you go into arena and you do password matchmaking, yes, you can get 600. The other thing Dixon I mentioned was basically just what would you change to improve those, what you just mentioned, how would you basically fix it, or what would you suggest that they could do differently to fix some of these issues that they clearly have in the game?
Well, just not allow it.
Okay.
Like, they could clearly just, like, not allow you to summon overleveled phantoms and base it, like, they could, I'm sure it would take them, like, 20 minutes to figure out how to code in, like, because they've done it with invasions and, you know, non-password summoning. How difficult would it be for them to just patch into password summoning? You can't summon level 600 phantoms as a level 25.
Okay.
I think something that could be fixed is, based on what new game you're in, they could increase the range of your password summon phantoms, but by like a very minuscule amount.
Okay. And then
Because it's still complete bullshit. Even on New Game Plus 7, it is still complete bullshit to be able to summon like an 802 without being one yourself.
right. And really quick, I like when you told me that idea. I thought it was such a good idea. I didn't even think about it because, like I said, I don't PB in this game, and now there's the infinite glitch, respec glitch. I'll never go into a new game unless I have to unless I fucked up a quest, you know. But I like your both ideas. The first idea you mentioned was like if they were, for example, if they allowed to people to only match with the password only like by increasing the level 0.5 times whatever your existing level. I think that's a great idea. I was thinking about that, and I thought about what if Dixon, what you just mentioned was that, but in addition, if you want to summon somebody that's higher level, in order to get the 0.5 additional summoning range, what if they do something like in Scholar, where they make you wear a ring, and unlike Scholar, you can't take it off once you summon the person, so you lose a ring slot if you want to have a slightly over level phantom.
A ring slot wouldn't be punishing enough in a game like this. They would have to make it so like your defense is lowered, or like you're embered but you don't have embered health, or like something like that.
Okay, and
It wouldn't be
Because
so
this-
bad if they got the scaling system right.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, what about scaling? What if they were nerfed?
So like
and
my
actual nerf?
my level 238 that I have on PlayStation,
If it was an actual
it's 40
nerf
across
that
the board.
If it was an
So
actual nerf, okay.
Hold on.
If it was an actual nerf that mattered, then I would say okay, but their defense is still normal, their damage is still normal, they just get their health reduced.
Right.
But there's no point in getting, like, if I'm invading as a level 50 with a +3 weapon, okay, their weapons aren't scaled down, so their damage is still the same. All their scaling on their weapons and catalysts is still the same. The only thing that gets changed is their health, FP, and stamina.
Yeah.
damage does get reduced, the scaling doesn't. So the
No, it
base
doesn't.
damage would be decreased.
Not enough to matter.
Right.
Not
I was
enough,
gonna
not
say
enough.
yeah,
But-
not enough to matter.
Because, so,
Not down to the
way
level
I
that it's
see
supposed to be.
is, it makes sense that their health is nerfed. The problem is their defense isn't nerfed. So
Correct.
even if they have 500 health, I could still be hitting. It would still take me, 20 hits to kill this dude.
Right. That's like going into an
then,
invasion
yeah.
and fighting
So-
two overleveled Hevels.
Just force their levels to match somewhere around the host's levels for each of the categories.
Mm-hmm.
But on my
Okay.
238 build, since I have 40 across the board, I'm double meta level. But if I get summoned by someone who's like 100 or 20, my damage will be exactly the same because my stats are at my stats are at the soft caps.
Right, but like you mentioned it earlier, even though the base damage might slightly be less, it's not noticeable. It's still not noticeable enough where it's like, oh my god, my damage got nerfed by 50 AR. because I've definitely seen people come in on like level 600s and do ton of damage. And we're talking weapons. What about spells? Have you seen a 600 level caster, for example, cast a fire chaos
It,
chaos bet
yeah,
whatever
it
that's called?
one-shots invaders.
Exactly. It's stupid. I think here's what I think
Because
too.
spells and catalysts don't have a base damage because they're completely based off scaling. And scaling doesn't do shit when you're summoned.
Yeah.
So,
So Dixon, I was gonna
Yeah.
piggyback on your idea and say, okay, so what if, all right, let's say somebody wants to summon their level 800 buddy and they want to do jolly co-op. They're not even looking for invasions, they just want to do jolly co-op. What if by you having to use the password because they're over leveled, you know, as fuck, what if they get nerfed by 50% across the board? It's like, fuck it, you want to have a level 800? He's gonna have half. Now I'm not saying half of stats of the host stats. I'm saying their stats in their level, in their world, they get cut by half. What do you guys think about that? So in their level, if they have 2200 health, they come in at 1100. If they do 800 damage, they only do 400. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that would be fair?
they could make it so that you have to password and dried finger just to summon one overleveled phantom.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yep.
Or
They-
make it so that you can't, if your phantom is a higher level, you won't be able to summon another one.
Okay,
Because
I
he'll
like
basically
that.
act as two. Or
Yeah, and
more.
now, and I like your idea that you mentioned earlier about the going into new game, and that would increase your summoner range. I think that's a great idea too. That's something totally they could do. So, for example, if you're in a regular game, you can only summon like somebody that's 30 levels higher than you. But if you're New Game Plus, that increases to, let's say, 50. And then if you New Game Plus 2, that increases to, or go by 10, whatever the case might be. But I think that's a great idea too. The point is, guys, that we're coming up with these great ideas, and it would be very easy for From to implement it. But one, they don't care. Two, they won't, because they want to protect the casual player. That's what it comes down to.
At this point,
well-
I'm fine with From not returning to the game to fix this stuff, because if they return to the game, they would fix, the casting glitch, the unbuffable glitch, the boss invasions, infinite
Right.
respects, etc. They would fix it all if they returned. Which,
Okay, now-
Well,
Now, do you think?
you
now,
guys
you
remember?
think? Hold on, Red. Do you think, in your opinion, though, Dixon, do you think that they will not return to this game anymore? Because I've said this earlier,
no.
and
No,
I
they
think
won't.
they will patch it within a month. That's my
I
opinion.
don't think they will.
You don't think so?
No. It's
Um,
pretty obvious they stopped giving a shit once the Ring City released. Because for the first time in the game's lifespan, they released patches centered around PvP, entirely.
Right.
And so, the community, obviously, the majority of the community is okay with it because they want the game's life cycle to expand, and with a game as poorly balanced as this, it's more. The reason I wanted to stay is I want a more creative experience. I'm tired of seeing 6 weapons over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Now, like you said, so like for example, so if somebody, what's a weapon that I haven't seen in a while? I'm trying to think. Give me a weapon that died out that you guys haven't seen for a long time. For whatever reason, because they decrease scale. Oh, somebody. I think
Karthus.
somebody.
Karthus
No,
Curve Sword.
yeah, but not the cancer. Don't give me the cancer swords.
Great Sword of Judgment.
No one
Okay.
uses it though.
Great Sword of Judgment. There you go. That's a good one. So if somebody, okay, and I guess here's the other question though. I guess if you self buff it and then you put the DMB on it, won't that only stack once, or will they stack?
Well, if you casted the weapon art, then it would probably get rid of it. But the weapon art's terrible, so.
Right. So a spell buff DMB would be a better option than
Or
like
crystal
the self
magic.
buff. Crystal magic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool. So you know what? That's you're right about that. I guess the case I was gonna say, and I think somebody mentioned this earlier. You guys remember Dragon Slayer Spear and how badly they got nerfed? What if somebody puts lightning on the Dragon Slayer Spear? I think that would be
The
awesome
weapon art
because
cancels it.
oh, okay, it does. Okay, see, I didn't know that. Okay, so as soon as you do the weapon art, it would cancel. Okay,
Yes.
okay, well, I guess we won't be seeing that anymore.
You guys remember Soul Level from Dark Souls 2? That would probably solve most of the issues.
Soul memory.
If they got it
Well,
right
the
this
thing-
Soul
time.
memory was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing.
Well,
here's the.
But it
well,
also got rid of fucking overleveled assholes.
correct.
Not really.
Well, no, it did. Leviathan,
Early on,
because,
yes. Late game, no.
Well, late game, correct. Late game, but that's.
I
if you
can't
wanted
play
to-
on my level 120 build anymore because I get matched with level 5 and 600s.
But how's that possible? What soul memory are you on?
13 million.
Well, how'd you get to 120?
There
at
was no
13?
agape ring.
Oh, okay, I see. I see.
There was no agape ring.
Right, 'cause-
And on top of that, it was an archer build, so I needed arrows.
Okay, because that was Agape Ring got added in Scholar, right? It wasn't in the vanilla
Yeah.
game. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't play much of the vanilla because I thought it was like so fucking difficult that I ended up putting it down, and then when I returned to the game, I ended up getting Scholar for Xbox One. But the Red mentioned a great idea. So what if they did added soul memory? So it's like, hey, you're overleveled, your Phantom that is 30 levels higher than you can come in, but if he's used like 5 million souls previously on, let's say, consumables and all kinds of other stuff, then he can't come in because he's gonna be stacked with everything else, right? That's kind of what you're saying, Red. That's what I'm getting, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, yeah. So
See,
so
I
it
was
ki-
thinking that maybe the game remembers your build. And like, okay, someone at level 120 or someone at level 20 summons you, it temporarily reverts your build back to level 20 with the same stats that you had back then.
Okay, all right.
So that
that's
you
a, dude,
are
that's,
also temporarily level 20.
that's
You're not
that's
over leveled
a great
anymore.
idea.
You still
That's
have
a great
the
idea.
weapons, but your defenses, your damage, hopefully the damage, the scaling, everything would revert back to when you were level 20.
Okay, dude, that's a great idea. The only thing
Now
is
there's
the-
still some cases that it could be really strong, like you would still have your infusion, so you could go with a bleed build and still eat through bosses. But your base damage will be lower. Your
Right.
health will be lower, your defenses will be lower.
Now, would you
I
think
guess-
that it should be able to make you not be able to use certain weapons anymore, or do you think you should still be able to use those if they want to be as strong?
Potentially it would make you unable to use weapons, depending on what your stats
Okay,
were.
but
If
okay,
it
but here's the-
remembered what your build was and reverted back to it.
Okay, but here, see, that's what I would have problem with. What if I want? What if I
Then
wanted to
it
use?
would be an issue. There
Okay.
are some issues with that. It's not a perfect system, and I know
Okay,
that.
I mean, dude, I like the idea. I was just thinking like it reverts.
It would
your
need
s-
some tweaking, but that's a
Okay,
general idea that
see,
I've had for.
Okay, see,
a
when you
while.
said that initially, Leviathan, I thought this was your idea. I thought that your idea was it reverts back to stats, but if you required 50 strength to wield, for example, a sword, an ultra that you wanted to wield, that it wouldn't make you unable to wield it, but you would be doing significantly less damage since you don't have the stats to support it. That's what I thought you meant, kind of. Because
Well, I
thought
suppose
that,
it's still the case, but
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, because I think that's a great idea. I think if they did something like that, but not necessarily
something like
make
that
you-
might be a little difficult to code in, though, especially at
Right.
this point in the game.
Right, that's what I was thinking. But if they did put soul memory, like Red was saying, I think that also would definitely get rid of a lot of the overleveled phantoms. I think that's a good idea too.
And then as far
Although-
as passwords go, you know, like make it
Mm-hmm.
to where there's a range for soul memory. Like let's say, I don't know, about 1,000. Well, not 1,000, but you know, something balanced where, you know, your friend, he killed like one boss without you. You can still play together.
Right. No, yeah, it's dude. That's definitely a great idea. I'm thinking the soul memory and Leviathan's the idea of like reverting back to your previous builds and stats. I think that would be difficult as far as like you said coding, but they're great ideas. I didn't even think about it, and that's a cool idea. I will say this though, Red. You mentioned the soul memory. I remember
Yeah.
watching something about Dark Souls game files and like mechanics, and I remember watching the video, and the guy said that there is a hidden soul memory in Dark Souls 3. There's a hidden soul memory stat, and the guy that was making the video was saying that he's like, hey, you know how sometimes it's difficult for you to summon your level 600 friend with the password? Well, it's
Come on,
because
Dixon.
there is a soul
Hold on,
memory.
I should.
There
I
is a
said to
soul
end this win
memory.
streak.
There is a soul memory stat that's hidden. That's what the video was saying, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
The
So,
Demar-
Red. So I guess what you were saying. So maybe soul memory, implementing soul memory wouldn't be so hard into the game if the game already has it, but it's more of a background stat. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely I do like that. I do like that idea. And then Leviathan, you were so you mentioned that idea. So yeah, those are some good ideas. Ghost, do you got anything that you could share with us? Anything basically that you have come across that you think might have been maybe a game mechanic and then it was changed for whatever reasons, and then how would you improve it, or how would you improve an existing mechanic if they were to do like another patch, whatever?
That didn't even come close to hitting me.
I'm honestly not sure. I can't think of a specific
Okay,
one.
well, let me go back to what Dixon was saying. So like, I used to love 2v2 arena. Okay, I used to love it. Now it's fucking annoying. It's agitating. I hate it because we do get matched up against fucking people that are like 600. I was thinking in arena, if you put password in, what if like in other games, for example like shooters, what if it looks for a team that's still around your soul level or soul memory range? So for example, if you got a phantom that's on the meta and then he's bringing his 600 level friend, guess what? The game's going to be looking for a team that has a meta character and a overleveled phantom. So like if you're going with two meta guys, the game is going to look for two meta guys that are not necessarily on a team. So for example, what if me and Dixon can go on our meta characters and get matched up against complete two randoms, but the only reason we're getting matched up is because they're in our soul level range? I think that makes so
think
much
maybe-
sense.
The problem is that there's just not enough people playing the game anymore. I think if there were still people around our level playing the game in the arena, we'd get matched up with them. But I think the problem is the arena is just such a terrible, terrible experience, and like regardless of what you do, that just no one wants to play it. And so
Well,
people,
I will say that
people-
as a 150, if I'm not playing with a partner, 9 times out of 10, I'll get matched with somebody who's around my level. I mean, the only time I
Yes.
ever get matched with somebody who's not is if, they're just trying to fill in for an opposite team. And
Right.
that barely
And-
ever happens, so...
Red, and that's
but,
what I was
it
saying.
kind of
but-
sucks. I can't play with my
Stupid.
middle-level friends.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, Red,
It
this
does
is what I'm
match
talking
with
about.
passwords, but it's
Correct.
such a stupid feature because it will count 2 level 600s as using a password.
Correct.
People
And Red,
who are so trash that they have to go in expecting an unfair fight in their favor
Yep.
for them to win.
Yep. And Red, and here's what I was gonna say. See, I used to play 2v2 a lot with my friends, and I used to love it, dude. And I will say this. Dixon said there's not that many people playing. I guarantee you, when people discover that, hey, I'm going on my meta level character with a friend of mine that's also meta, and we're getting matched up against 600, they just got tired of that BS and they stopped trying to do 2v2s. Because, Red, to your point, I've went into the arena just for fun without the password, and guess what? I never get anybody that's overleveled But guess what? I want to go into the arena with my friends around meta level instead of matching up against some randoms that are trash. So if I go in my meta character and Dixon goes in his meta character, why should we get matched up with 600s just because we're using password? It should match us up against other teams that are around meta, or basically two randoms that are around meta. I think
It shouldn't
it makes
base
the
it
most
off
sense.
password matchmaking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shouldn't,
It should
shouldn't
be
base it off whether or not people
soul
are using
level.
a password.
soul level range. That's what.
Once
it should
again,
be.
FromSoft implements something, but fucks it up. Like,
Yeah.
the password matchmaking should have been in the game in the first place. It should not look for other teams using a password. It should just
Correct.
look for people around your level.
Exactly. Make it soul level range exclusive. I think that solves everything. It makes the most sense. Basically, if you guys, I'm sure you guys all played other like games, like for example, shooters do this a lot. You know, back when I used to play
Shooters, it'll match
Halo.
you up with people who have like an equal KD to you. It will look for like skill. The game
Okay.
will. Like it'll, and if it
Let's-
doesn't find people, like if the game thinks that like modern day shooters, if it thinks the teams are too unfair, it'll kick people out of the lobby to try and find people to balance the teams out, or it'll mix the teams up.
Oh, see, that's interesting. I didn't know that. See,
It won't allow you to continually beat the other team's ass over and over and over again. It'll
Oh, see?
eventually switch you up.
okay. See, I
And
haven't
if you're
played.
together in a party, it'll just find a different lobby for everyone.
Okay, see, I haven't played shooters since like Halo days, and I remember Halo 2 and 3, it would be specifically level matchmaking. So what kids would do, basically what they would do is they would boost their friends. So they would go into a match with a level 1, and all three of them would be high
Touche,
level,
Red.
and it would look for a team that had one low level Phantom, no, not Phantom, one low level basically player, and then the others would be high level. But the way the game was designed, if you stayed in the lobby long enough, eventually you would catch other people that were like in between your soul level range. So what I was saying was like I said, yeah, me and Dixon going on our 140s, 140, 150. The level range should be up to 170 down to like 120. It makes the most sense. And I think that's how it should be, not based on, oh, if this team has a password or not. I think that would also bring a lot. I think that would make fun arena a lot more fun. And this is speaking from my perspective, who used to do 2v2 a lot, and I used to love 2v2s. And now I don't want to go in arena for 2v2s or 3v3s unless it's with friends, because I'm tired of getting matched up against fucking 600s. And on top of it, these scrubs are gonna go and fucking send you messages afterwards saying, hey, oh, we got nerfed, it's not OP, you know? That's just fucking super annoying. So, yeah, that's it. I agree, I totally agree.
In the arena, when I can find a match, I do almost exclusively 2v2s and 3v3s. Like, I've seen people that have been higher level and scaled down, but haven't had too much of an issue with them, and I don't think I've ever found an entire team of them. Not that
Okay.
I can recall, anyways. Doesn't
Right,
mean it didn't
but
happen.
are you going in with randoms, or are you going
Sometimes
with
with
the password?
randoms, a lot of times with someone.
Okay, there you go. There you go. See, if I go by myself and I expect randoms, I never get overleveled. Because when you don't use a password, the game uses a soul level matchmaking mechanic. And that's what it should be doing for teams as well. Just because I'm putting a password on, and so is Dixon, if we're at level 140, why the fuck should we get matched up against level 600s just because we use the password?
But even when I did use the password, I never found a match that felt so unfair that I couldn't win, and it was because they were
Okay.
an entirely high-level team.
When
that's
did you
never
go?
happened.
When have you gone to 2v2 arena recently on Xbox? With a friend?
It's probably been about a month,
Okay.
maybe 2.
Okay, there you go. If you want, after we're done with this, you and I can go in, and we'll catch some normal people. But I guarantee you we'll run into level 700s that will basically be able to one-shot you with either crystal spears or fireballs, and you're dodging one of them because he's a full Havel with fucking Gundyrs doing the charge. You're dodging him while the other guy shoots you with the spells. Trust me, it's
You
not
run
fun.
across people that do that anyways at meta level.
Yeah, but guess what? At meta level, they're sacrificing stuff. At level 600, they can afford it. Okay, at level 600, they have fucking 60 in all their stats. So trust me, it does not make sense. It should be based on your soul level, regardless of whether you use a password or not. That's my opinion. I think a lot of people left Arena, like me, who used to love going to 2v2s, just because I got tired of fucking matching up against level 600s with everything, you know. So yeah, that's what I think. So yeah, I'm definitely not pleased with some of the mechanics they recently added, and it just pisses me off that From Software just doesn't care, and when they do change, they think, oh hey, password matchmaking that you can match up with your friend, instead of fucking leaving soul level range, they're still changing it to what's it called? They're still changing it to basically, oh yeah, you're gonna look for a team, and if they're level 600, sucks for you. So I don't know. That's what I think. But that's my opinion. You guys have anything else? Ghost, have you thought about something that you, like I said, you come across that might have been a cool mechanic had it been explored fully, or maybe that it was mechanic at one point but then it got removed?
I wish
not
armor upgrading was still a thing.
Okay,
Why
great.
they-
Actually, yeah, that I agree.
Okay, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. And I think, like I said, so they made, you know, you guys remember what 3-4 patches ago when they made heavy armor more viable. I think it makes me upset that, and maybe, you know what? Maybe armor initially was upgradable in this, and then they took it out. But I think that they could do something like, hey, here's my armor. I can only upgrade it 3 times. You know, I can only upgrade it 3 times and make my armor a little better. That way I can stay with my fashion, because I understand that the main argument for not upgrading armor is that, hey, I like my fashion, so I don't care about my armor. But what about for those people that, hey, I like this armor, but you know what? I'm fucking getting 2-shot in it because I'm wearing fucking denser robes. If I was able to upgrade it maybe at least once, 2 or 3 times, I wouldn't be able to get 2-shot now. Maybe it would take me 3 shots to get shot. I mean, to get killed, but at least I can still stay with my fashion. You know what I mean? I think even if they made a very basic way of upgraded armor, like I said, just 1, 2, 3, can only get upgrades 3 times. So like 1 time from Titanite Shard, 1 time from Large Titanite, and then after that it's Titanite Chunk. I think that would be cool. So I do like that. I do like that idea, Red. I think that would be very cool.
I also miss having armors that had special effects. Like I remember in Dark Souls 2, the enchanted gauntlets would give you a chance to get a critical hit on a normal attack. And now, you know, there's like barely anything that gives you special effects in this one.
Right.
I
What about
think
some
the
nerfs?
engraved gauntlets from Dark Souls 2, those are the only ones that I remember, at least, that gave you a special effect.
No,
There's
no.
the Moonlight Butterfly armor too. They had all kinds
Okay,
of stuff.
there were... Okay. I forgot about
Yeah.
those. It's
Well,
been a while
also-
since I played Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. Also, guys, you guys remember they had the Scholar gauntlets that would increase. They would decrease. Was it decrease your spell?
Oh, that's
charge
right.
cost?
They had
Yeah.
a lot of... They had a lot of them. They had whole armor sets that like gave you extra souls or increased equip load.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
Or I
Do you guys
forgot
remember-
about all of those.
Yeah, do
Holy
you guys
cow, they
remem-
had a lot.
I'm just trying to say, you know, like what happened to all of that? That was like one of the coolest parts about armor in Dark Souls 2, was that you
Right.
could put on some armor
B-Team
that
was
would also
booted
take
out.
not only his protection, yeah, Like that's the only good thing B Team really did, or one of the few things
Well,
they
that
did,
power stancing.
honestly. But still,
Yeah, power stancing was awesome.
yeah.
I almost always use the engraved gauntlets just because the extra random damage was sometimes it was life saving.
Not to
See,
mention they
I-
fucking look badass.
Yeah, do you guys remember the Wilhelm's, no, not Wilhelm, fucking, do you guys remember that helm that increased your equip load? I remember using that.
There was entire armor sets that did that.
Yeah, wasn't it that invisible armor set? One of them.
Oh yeah, the invisible armor
maybe?
set, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
remember
sure
that.
that one increases your equipment load.
I know there was a cloth one that did that too. Because I
and then,
remember
for instance,
seeing,
the Jester set
I
would
think
make
it was
you immune to
Sunlight Blade
backstab.
did what he called the Iron Man build. So he used that
No.
armor set in order to up his equip load, and then used Iron Flesh, and he could still normal roll with Iron Flesh on because his equip load was so high because of that armor set.
Yeah. Well, you know, Red.
You guys
Red,
also
it wasn't.
remember-
It wasn't Jester. It was the. It was the fucking. Remember the turtles, the turtle enemies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the,
The
Jester
turtle
also had
and
it though. I
the
thought.
jester chest made you immune
Oh,
to
the Jester did
backstabs,
too?
and so
Okay,
did the
I know
turtle.
the- I know-
And not to mention
I
they
know
also
the
had a
turtle.
ring for it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
just
the
like
ring
in
didn't make you
well,
immune; it just reduced it.
reduced it. Yeah, just
I
like
thought
in
the-
this game.
Are you sure? Because that one ring that put a person on your back, I thought it made it impossible for people to backstab you.
It heavily reduced damage from behind.
Right.
Or I think it was supposed to be specifically backstabs, but the way they originally coded it, it was all damage from behind. So there were bosses you would literally turn your back and you could tank their strongest hits and take no damage. Well, next to no damage.
That's crazy.
Not to mention they had so many much better rings in Dark Souls 2 than they have in this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Like Ring of Blades, the Dragon Rings were way better. I love the Dragon Rings.
Yeah.
Now it's like your options are so limited if you want to have a specific ring build for certain builds, you know?
Right. Which is why I'm glad that they buffed Prisoner Chain, because I've been using Prisoner Chain on all my meta characters, because that ring is just so fucking good, you know? But, yeah, that's cool. The other thing is, guys, the other mechanic that I was going to mention that, to me, they've actually buffed it, but I think originally this thing was supposed to be, like, very OP, and in fact, I'm gonna tell you right now, I watched a early access video like a year before Dark Souls 3 came out, and this guy got killed by this effect by the dancer, I believe, or it might have been Vord, because I think those were the two boss fights you were able to access along with the Cursed Great Wood, whatever the fuck that boss fight is called. Cursed Rotted Greatwood, yeah. Guys, if you watch an early access Dark Souls 3 video of some famous YouTuber was fighting, I think it was Vord. He got frostbitten and it insta-killed him. It was basically as if it was curse. He got frozen solid, he turned white, and it killed him. Which, and like I said, it's so cool that they added this frost damage in this game. But they clearly like made it super weak initially, and that's why they've been buffing it since then. But can you imagine if frost weapons were that strong? If they could literally frost, you know, freeze you and then you die? Or what if they fucking put in what's it called? What if they put in a frost gem? You know? What if they put in a frost gem and it's like, hey, you can infuse your weapon with a frost damage, and it scales off, you know, something like vigor, for example, or something like that. I don't know, something. I think it would be so much cooler than, you know, what it is now. Even though they've made the additional buffs to frost, I still think that frost isn't as viable as other buffs, you know, and it kind of sucks that, like I said, they had this good idea and then they just kind of like nerfed it to the ground, and they've been buffing it since then because they kind of want to overcompensate for the fact that they fucked it up initially. But yeah, the other thing is, guys, that I wanted to mention was invasions. Don't you think that what if they made Reds invade, basically, like if you invade as a red, Rosaria's finger specifically. What if their covenant specialty was that the game does the opposite from world prioritizing? So meaning instead of prioritizing ganks, it prioritizes single hosts. Don't you think that would be cool? Like in Dark Souls 2, it was so cool to invade because most of the time you invaded a solo host. Because the game mechanic wasn't dictating for you to get summoned into a world of gankers. And I think that would be really cool if they went and they tied like not boss invasion, but if they tied solo invasions to like Rosaria's, for example. I think that would be so cool, you know. It's just like I said, some of the mechanics and how they incorporate them, it just makes me so pissed off because this game could have been so much better, and it's still good, but they could have made it so much better, and it seems like they did all these changes just to help out noobs, and that's what pisses me off. That's what pisses me off, if you ask me, but...
No, and I still hear new people to the game complaining about how hard it is. Like, some people want to make it to where you can play co-op invasion or co-op summons without getting invaded at all. I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about people like that, but that really gets on my nerves. Like, this game is built around being hard, and that just sounds like
Right.
adding the easy mode to me.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely right, dude. Like I said, people that complain and say that this game is hard are fucking dumb. I mean, they're
This is
just
one of the
flat out-
easiest ones I've ever played.
Yeah, it is.
I've been through the whole game and only died. I died like under 20 times, and I didn't even have summons. So
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so pissed off. But does anybody have any other anything else they want to add? Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to the third and final subject for this week, and we'll just keep continue with the Fight Club. By the way, for those of you guys that are watching the Passworders podcast, if you want to get summoned, drop your red and I'll pick you up. Anybody else? Any other cool mechanic that you think maybe was meant originally, but they kind of scrapped it or whatever? Anybody else want to add to that? If not, then like I said, I'll move on to the third topic.
our biggest one's probably power stancing not being a thing.
Yeah, I know we've discussed it previously. Now, okay, and I'm glad you brought this up because I was thinking about that. And you guys know how they have certain dual wield weapons, for example, like cell swords are technically two scimitars, right? So two curved swords. Now that they have their ring paired great swords, that's kind of like basically dual wielding two ultras. Do you guys think that they basically put in some of those dual wield weapons to say like, hey, we know that you might have enjoyed power stancing, so we're giving you this because we want to take advantage of this game mechanic called weapon arts, you know? And I thought about this, and it made me think that power stancing could exist in this game along with weapon arts if basically, just like in Dark Souls 2, you equip two weapons, you held Y to go into your power stance mode, so that instead of casting weapon arts when you press your LT trigger, you cast your, I mean not cast, but you basically perform your power stance move. And I think that would be so much cool, dude. This would add like so much more beef to the PvP. Like it would be so much more variety, you know. It just makes me upset that basically that mechanic was disregarded just because it was a Dark Souls 2 thing. And I feel like they discarded a lot of good mechanics and whatnot simply because they came from Dark Souls 2. So
I think it's a really it's a huge waste. That could have been such an interesting part to see. Like I remember whenever the dual smelter demon swords was out, you know, blue and red, that was so fucking much fun to use. Like I had the most fun ever using those. And now I get on Dark Souls 3, you know, the first day I played, I was like, so, can you power stand shit? And I'm over here trying to do it, and you can't. I don't know, it was like a huge letdown. Seeing as that was like one of the only good things I got from Dark Souls 2, too. You know?
Right, I agree. If anyone in the chat wants to make a comment, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to give a couple more minutes and then move on to the next subject. Ghost, have you thought about anything while we're still on this?
I have.
Okay.
This may sound weird, but what about color customization?
Oh yes, some of the armors would look so much better if you could just customize them. I
Okay.
definitely agree on that.
Okay, so hold on. So that's a cool idea. Can you expand more on it? How would you do it? Would it be certain gems, or how would you implement the color customization into the game? Like, what mechanic would basically allow you, and how would you do it?
Well, I would say you would have to get it from the blacksmith,
Okay.
since he upgrades the weapons and does the infusions. So, let's say they create a new item that gives different colors. And just like the items that we try to farm,
Mm-hmm.
they're considered one of them. And I'm not sure how the process will be to create it,
Uh-huh.
but let's say you talk to the blacksmith and then you have one of the categories of coloring an armor and or weapon of your choice. So I may not include the boss weapons since they are unique in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but if you guys prefer that, that would be alright as well.
I was
Okay, and
thinking, I thought a lot about this before, and I was thinking if they added an NPC, like a specialized NPC, let's say he was like a clothing specialist or something like that, and you went to him to do custom color palettes. Like I would even be okay if other people couldn't see what my colors were as long as I could, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Would there be any penalties for using these color palettes, or would it be just strictly for fashion?
Fashion.
That's
Okay.
fashion.
You know what I think? I like your idea with the special NPC. What if they had a quest that allowed you to do that? And what if you had to buy the color palettes using souls?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, dude. I didn't even
Another
think
idea
about
I've
it,
thought
but
about is being able to like wear one armor but have it look like you're wearing another armor. Even if that only applied for you, I would still like that. That'd be really neat.
yeah.
For sure.
I guess you're right. That definitely adds to the fashion element. So, yeah, I think those are all cool points. So yeah, Ghost, that was a great point. I didn't think about it, and you're right. That definitely would add to customization, because you know what, guys, for those of you that played Scholar, I am pissed off that this is Dark Souls 3, which is the third installment, and we have less items than in the previous installment. I mean, that's just so fucking stupid, if you ask me. How can you make
Definitely.
a part 3 of a franchise and have less items than your part 2, which is considered one of the worst? I mean, that's just so fucking stupid. It annoys the fuck out of me that they couldn't even put more items. That's something they could have easily done. And I don't know. Like when I start talking about From Software and their decisions, I just get so pissed off because it pisses me off on some of these decisions that they made for this game. But yeah, that's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. You just had Ghost, so I do like that. All right. So I guess yeah, unless anybody else wants to add anything, I'll go with the third topic. Anybody else have a comment before we close this subject?
Before Dark Souls kind of hit the main market, it was a lot better as an underground game. What the hell is
Okay. All right. So. Oh. Yeah, my mic is
that?
down.
Grim Leviathan.
My ears.
Okay. Yeah, Leviathan. All right. Did you fix it? Somebody say something else.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, good. All right.
No, what am I fixing? Am I echoing?
No. It was like giving us static effect for some reason. Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
but
I guess it wasn't plugged in all the way.
okay, that's fine. Anyways,
So,
okay,
did you not
so
hear what I said?
I did not. I did not. So if you can
Okay, I
repeat
said,
that.
what if they added in a mechanic that, since they removed the power stance and added in the dual-wield weapons, what if they added a mechanic that allowed you to create your own dual-wield weapons at the blacksmith?
Oh yeah, that'd be really interesting to see.
Okay,
Like,
hold on,
being able to
hold
put
on,
an
but
ultra with a straight.
That would be nice.
so wait, so Leviathan, so what? You would go to blacksmith, and then what is it that you would have to do? You would like
You would have to have a special. I would assume you would have to have a special item or some kind of gem or something, and I would assume you would just select one weapon, select another weapon, and then almost like infusing it or upgrading it and create a dual wield weapon.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
like just like
And
an infusion.
like
I
I'm
think that'd
sure
work really
that there
good.
would be some things that probably shouldn't be compatible just for balancing reasons, but
Right.
I think that'd be pretty interesting.
okay, so what you just
Or like
okay,
some
so
kind of specific infusion, and you have to have 2 weapons with that infusion on it before you can make it, or something, and then it would basically create a new weapon with
Okay.
the dual wield stats.
okay, yeah. So for
I think that'd
example,
be
just
interesting.
just to mention like one that I definitely would not want to see would be, let's say, a Pontiff Curve Sword with the Exile paired. Because I think
Yeah.
that would be pretty BS if you know, if that was something that they could let you do.
Probably.
So in this system, Leviathan, this system, you mentioned this already. So there would be some sort of restrictions,
For
right?
balancing reasons, there would have
Yeah.
to be some things, some weapons that wouldn't be compatible. Just like
Right.
in Dark Souls 2, there were some weapons that you couldn't power stance because of various reasons.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I like that idea, dude. I think that's a cool idea. I didn't even think about it, but I like that. Point is that yeah, if they made sure that it was balanced, it definitely would add to the
And
To
as
the
a
current
drawback, so they do have the weapon arts. As a drawback, the created power stanced weapon probably wouldn't have a weapon art,
well, that's what I'm saying.
because
It wouldn't.
otherwise that'd just be really
Right,
strong.
right.
Depending on with certain combinations, would be really strong.
Right. No, I've said this before. Power stancing along with weapon arts can exist, but one cancels the other. So if you power stance 2 weapons, your LT becomes your power stance move. There's no weapon art, you know, and vice versa. So I think that's cool. That's a good idea. Yeah, there definitely would have to be restrictions, but that's a good idea. All right. Anybody else want to add anything about that subject? If not, then
I was just gonna
we'll
say
move on.
that I feel like Dark Souls 3 was like the most mainstream like game there because it feels so dumbed down now. Like everything's so simple
Right.
and easy to figure out. Like literally, you can look up like a 10-second guide on how to do some shit, and it's stupid. Like I love the complexity of the older ones where it's like, you know, it really takes some thought to figure out how to make your build. Now it's like, oh yeah, just put a whole bunch of stats into this one, you're good.
Right. You know what's funny? I'm glad you said that. I think that they intentionally dumbed this game down to make it more noob friendly and to sell more copies because they knew, hey, we're making Dark Souls 3 and that's it, at least for now. And I don't agree with that. You're right. I think this game was better when it was a hidden gem. They listened to the community more. People's opinions mattered more to the developer, and whereas, like I said, with this one, it seems like they did dumb it down and said, hey, let's make it noob friendly. We want to make sure these noobs that can pick up this game and not die on the first boss, you know. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. You know what would be cool? If they continue to update the game based on the PvP community and the hardcore fans and what they want. You know, eventually we could get a much better balanced game, a much more fun game, if they, for example, got rid of this bullshit that, oh, you know, think of the casuals because, oh my god, what's going to happen to them? Well, guess what? your casuals bought the game and they're no longer playing it. They've all went back to COD. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
pretty much every casual who went through beat the game. They're like, oh, I'm done.
Yep. Yep.
Now all the hardcore fans are here. It's like, wow, look at this shit pile they left behind.
Yep.
Now we have to
Yep.
deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
agree.
love Dark Souls. Dark Souls is one of the first fighting games I really got into, and I fucking love this game. But there's so many things fucked up about it because From just decided to dumb it down so much.
Right. I agree. I agree. That's kind of sucks, man. Kind of sucks that that's the case. But yeah, I definitely agree. But hey guys, for those of you that just joined and you're watching, if you want to get summoned, the password is podcast lowercase. Drop your rad and I'll pick you up.
I call bull there. I hit that weapon arm.
But yeah, no, that's a good point. I like that, Red, because I definitely think they did dumb this game down to make it more noob friendly. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right. Nobody else has anything to add. I'm gonna move on to the third subject really quick. Anybody else want to add anything, or can I move on to the third subject, basically?
I'm done that stuff.
All right. So, guys, the third subject I have for today, and I may revisit this simply because we've been here for, it looks like, almost 2 hours and a half. So I think I'm going to revisit this subject next week because it's pretty meaty in my opinion, and I would want to showcase probably some of this stuff. But I guess I'm going to go with another subject that I had in mind, and that is based off like these recently found glitches. What do you guys think that will do to the game in basically near future? Do you think that's gonna bring more people back? For example, people are watching YouTubes and they're like, "Hey, I used to love Dark Souls, but then I got bored of it because I would invade and then I got ganked every time I invaded." Do you think that's gonna bring some of these people back because they're gonna see YouTube videos? Hey, boss invasions are back. Hey, unbuffable glitches back. Hey, spellcasting glitches back. This basically more fun stuff is back. What do you guys think that's gonna do to the game in near future? Do you think that's gonna bring more people? Do you think that's good in the long run versus the short future of next couple months? What do you guys think? What do you guys think if From Software was to leave this and not patch anything? Do you think in the long run we'd see more people go back to the game, or in the short run do you think more people would come back but then eventually they would just put it back down? What do you guys think? Give me your opinion on that. And I'm gonna go and explain the topic a little bit more. It's the amount of people coming back, but it's also, like Dixon mentioned this earlier, the amount of people doing something that they've stopped, for example, because they were tired of, for example, invading and getting ganked. Because I've definitely seen an increase in invasions, and I do like that, and it's because maybe people are trying to boss invade, whatever. But I think anything that increases the life of the game is good. So that's my opinion, but Red, you started talking, so I'm gonna go with you. Tell me what do you think? In short future and basically long future, what do you think this will do to the game? These glitches and everything that we're discovering.
I think at the same time, it's gonna bring people back. It's also gonna take people away because they're gonna be people who are gonna just get sick and tired of it. You know, if they don't patch it. I think the really only way to repopulate this game is for us to do it ourselves. You know, like how they did in Dark Souls 1, National Restart Day or Global Restart Day. That brought a lot of people back. You know, if we did something like that on Dark Souls 3, I think that'd repopulate the game real fast. If only for a short time, and still bring back some people.
Right. See, they've done the global restart, just so you know, in Scholar as well. And I participated in the global restart of Dark Souls 1 and 2. And it was a lot of fun. But the problem with that was it was short-lived. So once the restart was done, a lot of people put the game back down. I'm thinking with these glitches, basically, what's the implication of short-term and long-term if basically what would keep people to stay longer with the game, or do you think that in the long run, like you said, people are gonna get tired of it and they're gonna be like, well, fuck this game because they got boss invasions and they got unbuffable glitch, still going on, so I don't want to play this game. Because in my opinion, it's gonna bring people short term, but I think in the long run, yeah, you'll drop off some people, but I think the amount of people that get brought short term is still gonna outweigh the long term effect of people dropping off because they're tired of getting boss invaded. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I think. But yeah, no, that's a valid point. Leviathan, what do you think? What do you think that's gonna do short term and long term to this game? These glitches.
I think most of the people that have already left aren't interested anymore. Well, some of them will come back, probably. But a majority of them probably have moved on to something else already.
Okay.
And
so you think...
as soon as the boss invasions go away, if they do, the few people that did come back will leave again, because they'll get bored again.
Okay, so you think in the long run it's not enough? And the glitches are not gonna spark enough?
If they patch them, probably not. If they keep them there, who knows? If it becomes a permanent thing, it's like, I haven't used them because well, I don't want them to go away if I start using them again like I did the first time. I had fun with that. And if I have fun with it again and then it goes away, I'm just going to be disappointed again.
I think even if it did stay permanently, it would eventually people would get tired of it. Cause I mean, not tired of it, but more or less used to it. Because then it'd just be an element of the game that's been there forever now, you know?
Right, because
It probably should have been there forever.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So I agree with what Red was saying. So think about it this way. So let's say someone's tired of getting boss invaded, right? Well, guess what? Black Crystal out those people, or play offline. If you're getting tired of watching people buff and unbuffable weapons, bring a dual charm, right? I mean, so there's ways to control it. And I think if they, like you said, if they were to leave it in the game, I think in the long run, there would be more people. Because it would make the game more fun. It would literally make the game more fun. So...
Anybody else seeing these fucking floating lightning bolts?
Yes, Dixon is casting them.
Yeah.
In fact, let me see if I can invite him to the party. Oh, he's offline. Looks like.
I think he's having connection issues.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I think that's what he messaged me. Let me check.
Yeah. Check.
He's having connection issues.
Can you invite him to the party? I kind of want to ask him how he discovered this.
I don't think he can join. Like, I think the party was giving him issues.
Oh. I see.
What the hell?
Yeah. That's creation. That's Dixon's creation.
Funny.
Yeah. They don't hurt either. You can stand in them right away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Instead of dropping prism stones, you run around and drop lightning bolts.
Yeah. What's it called? All right. So Red. So that was your opinion, or no, that was your opinion, Leviathan. Red, you said that you think, in the long run, that more people would drop off. That's what you said, right?
I think no matter what, whether they keep the patch or whether they keep the glitch or not, I think people are just gonna die out. Just because if they get rid of it, then people will be upset that it's gone, and if they don't get rid of it, people will get used to it being there, and they won't be able to remember a time where it wasn't there, you know? Or more or less just be how the game always was.
I see. That's interesting. That's interesting.
I love these fucking lightning bolts.
Hey Dixon, how did you discover that just now? Did you just discover that now? That's interesting. That is definitely interesting.
They definitely spice up the Fight Club.
Yeah.
Oh, did they all just disappear?
So Dixon, yeah, as soon as you die, they disappear. I was wondering about that. That's cool. See, that shit is cool. Like, dude, like I have no issue with that, like at all. That shit is cool as fuck. You know?
I think
Eh.
one thing that they should have added a long time ago is being able to charge spells. You know, old Moonlight and the
Yes.
what's the other one called? The Lightning Bow. That is really neat how you can charge them the whole time. Like being able to charge a Crystal Soul Spear would be make it so much more viable. You know, like you can just release it at your own terms.
Right.
So-
But it
people
already
don't
one-shots
see it
people.
coming.
Do you really need to charge it? If you hit someone with it,
I
they're
don't mean
dead.
charge as in it does more damage. I mean charge as in like you can hold it and release it whenever you want to.
Yeah, you mean
I know what
mean
you
like,
meant, I know
you mean disrupt timing. That's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Disrupting timing. Yeah. Yeah,
Like just
I,
how I
I
can
guess.
do with my Cathedral Knight Sword, where I can just hold RT and let it go whenever I want to, or it'll do it itself. That would have been
Right.
a great thing to add for everything else.
But on
This
a
kid is
proper
really kicking
mage
my
build,
ass.
it one-shots people already, and it hits. It's hard to hit against someone who knows what they're doing, but it one-shots people. You don't need it to hit all the time. You just need it to hit once.
Well, I had never had one-shot me, unless it was a one-shot build specifically, so... What I'm saying is, it would make mage builds a lot more viable, which, in my opinion, they are pretty much the equivalent to a piece of shit right now. I might as well just run around with the fucking broken straight sword and try and do that. It's better off than using a mage build. Because it's so easy to
Interesting.
dodge and see coming, you know, being able to charge it will change that up quite a bit. I'm not
Right.
saying being able to hold it forever like you can do with other spells, though. I'm saying like just how they do it with charged heavy attacks. Do it like that.
Right. No, that's interesting. I mean, like I said, you know, the whole the topic was and actually, guys, for those of you that are watching, thanks for watching this week's podcast. If you want to join our Fight Club, drop your red sign here. Password is podcast lowercase, and I'll pick you up. The point is you know of the topic was that these things, these glitches, they're definitely I don't know, like I said, I don't know how to put it, but they're definitely making the game more fun. And if you're making a game more fun, and there's ways to control them, like dual charms, and like you're getting boss invaded. Guess what? Go offline. You know.
Just use the crystal, like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. And look at this. Dude, this looks like I'm standing in a fucking, like, in between dark holes. Like I'm standing in between black holes, dude. Look.
I see that.
Nice.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did you just discover that now? Is that what you've been
So
doing?
is that
You've
what
been playing
happens
all
when
the
you
spells?
cast swap with the black flame then?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Yeah, how come you're using black flame? Is the black flame the catalyst for this? Seems to be like he's using the.
I just got
black
summoned
flame.
in. I can't see them. They're not there for me.
Okay, yeah. It
I
seems
can
like
see
he's
them on the
using
stream, but they're not there for me because I just loaded in.
Oh, yeah. It seems like he's using black flame to cast these.
Yeah, I think Saint Riot showed something about that, but he used a combustion and
Oh.
stuff.
Okay, I see.
I think
Black
that's what
flame
happens.
so quick, it's probably a pain to get that timing down.
I think that's what happens whenever you try to buff a weapon, but instead you do something else. I don't really understand how it works, but I think that's what it does.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And one thing I will
Um,
say that I really loved about Dark Souls 3 is the soundtrack. Anybody else feel like Dark Souls 3 has the best soundtrack of all of them?
Yes. Yes.
I quite
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely. It's funny because you mentioned soundtrack. One of my uh, workout lists consists of boss fight themes. You know, because they're so
God.
good. They're like so fucking epic, dude. Like, you know, I'll go in the gym and that's my jam, dude. Seriously. It's no, yeah. I find it kind of interesting and funny. But yeah, I agree.
I don't want to fight that kid anymore.
Yeah, he's good with that. Well, Dixon's playing around with his balls.
I guess
So-
Stephen Hawking perfected his black hole theory.
Yeah. But well, yeah. Look at this, guys. I mean, look at this, guys. Whoever's watching this, I mean, this shit's harmless, and this is funny. Like, this is fucking funny. You know, and I'm hoping that because of these glitches that they have now in the game, that they're gonna. It does spice up. It just makes the game more fun, and that's what brings more people in. You know, make the game more fun. You know, make the game more fun. Sometimes, you know what's funny? I get agitated with this game, and like I have to play something else because this game is no longer fun. You know, so for like a day or two, I'll play something else because I don't find this game fun anymore. You know, and then I'll go back to it and it's fun again. But I don't know. It pisses me off. See, shit like this, harmless shit like that, or guess what? Boss invasion to me. Now, when I'm bored, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go boss invade, cause it's fun. And for those people that think that shouldn't be a thing, like I said, play offline of Black Crystal and me out. You know, I won't care. Trust me, I won't care if you play offline of Black Crystal and me out. So, yeah.
Anybody?
Dixon,
Can anybody think
Dixon-
of some? Oh, okay.
Dixon, you should definitely invade and just perform magic shows. That'd be pretty fucking funny. Yeah. You were saying, Red?
I was just gonna say, any thoughts on PvP etiquette? You know, like things you think should be in play that aren't in play.
Okay, yes. So, and I'm assuming you're talking about a guy who you ran into, and tell us the story,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
for those of you that
go
are,
through the messages. This is actually
Yeah.
really funny.
for those
I
of you
fought
that
this
are,
kid. I invaded them, and you know,
Uh-huh.
I immediately saw that he was nerfed because he was a higher level. So
your mic cut off, by the way. Hello? Oh, he's fucking connecting. Whatever. Well, when he comes back, Leviathan, I was gonna ask you this because I thought this was an interesting perspective. So you picked up a PlayStation recently, right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and you said you've played Dark Souls on PlayStation?
Mm-hmm. I'm on my 4th character now, working up to 250.
Okay, so is there a lot more people basically on PlayStation that I assume there are?
It seems like it, yeah. I don't know the exact number, but it definitely seems like there's more people.
Okay, what's the What's the meta? Is it 125 like I see all the videos?
My meta builds that I make, I go to 130, because the Bloodshades and the Crusaders, which Peeve is trying to revive the Bloodshades, so there's more of them running around. There is the regular meta, and then there's the 140 meta, and 130 is somewhere in the middle, so I can match up with all of them without having too much of a disadvantage or advantage.
Okay, here, let me ask you this. Okay, because I've noticed when I've been invaded by people at Pontiff, I've seen Bloodshades. You're saying that Peeve is trying to revive them?
Peeve is
Was
trying
that-
to revive the Bloodshades.
Okay, was that like...
Probably almost exactly a week ago, Peeve himself got on Xbox on his Bloodshade build and led invasions. And I know on the Bloodshade Discord channel there was at least 15 people in the voice chat alone, and more in the text chat that were invading on Xbox as Bloodshade. So yeah, he's trying to revive it.
Okay, so that's why I've seen Bloodshades come in. So you're saying that he got onto an Xbox? That he was doing it on his Xbox?
Yeah.
Huh.
I haven't seen him do it on PlayStation since he said he was reviving them, but he's done it on Xbox twice already.
That's interesting.
Usually later in the night, but just the fact that he's trying to invade, there's more Bloodshades in general just because they know that more people are playing now.
Right. That's interesting because I was like just thinking about that. I'm like, I didn't see any YouTube videos or anything like that saying, hey, Bloodshades are being revived. But I've seen Bloodshades, like people were Bloodshades, and Dixon even mentioned that he's gotten invaded by Bloodshades, and he was using his Bloodshade character whom he respect to a mage, and they would do the quiet resolve gesture, and then they would just Black Crystal out. So that's funny that he mentioned that. That's interesting.
I was gonna say, if you don't mind me erecting into the conversation, I guess. Where did I leave off? When I kicked me out?
Dude,
we didn't see much of anything. Or we didn't hear much of anything.
Yeah, you just started talking about basically you were gonna tell everybody how somebody was telling you that something you did was dishonorable in the whole PvP etiquette.
Yeah. Okay. This kid, Midget Man 35. He's a really funny fellow, I think. He's a Havel enthusiast, from what I can tell. But I invaded the world. I saw that he was nerfed, so I immediately knew that they were probably gonna try and gank me. And so I ran and I said, ganking no bueno, and then I went back and I fought him fairly, might I add. The only thing I did was use fire bombs. Well, after I killed the first one, Havel the Rock decides that fire bombs aren't fair in PvP, and he decides to heal. And I asked him about it, and he says, oh, fire bombs aren't fair, you need to learn how to play the game. I told him, I've been playing since around day one, I think I know how to play, but according to him, fire bombs are not honorable. So I just like to think, I know that fire bombs are, but I just like to say, is there anything you guys think that should be not allowed in PvP, that should be frowned upon, that is allowed?
I mean, dude, whoever says that bombs are not fucking honorable is a fucking idiot. That's so dumb. That's just so dumb.
I just have a personal issue with regen builds. I don't mind having a little bit of regen, but entire builds completely focused on having 50 health a second. That's bull. You should not be able to do that.
Leviathan,
it's such a pain to fight because they just sit back and turtle as soon as you hit them, and then.
Leviathan, listen. I used to have an issue with regen builds. However, I don't anymore since I created my regen build. And you know why I created it? I created it specifically to fight those fucking passive dweebs that do nothing but wait for you to swing first, and they try to punish you for everything you do. That's specifically why I created the regen build, and that's why I no longer have an issues with it. Because I think when somebody who's super passive sees a regen build, that makes them more... They have to be more aggressive, because guess what? Eventually the guy with the regen is probably going to catch them here and there, and they're going to lose. So I used to have an issue with regen. I 100% do not anymore. And like I said, it doesn't even have anything to do with the fact that I started using a single regen build. And by the way, the most you can get is like 30 HP per second. Just FYI, not 50.
I know.
But yeah. Nader says that his Ring Knight Spirit counters passive scum. Yeah, but you have to understand, Nader, you have a faster weapon. For me, like with my Ultra, you know, I love casting the 2 regens along with my fucking, what's that ring called? Some Princess Ring and whatnot. Because when people hit me and when they see how much I regen and how quickly, and they're the passive scums, like you said, it makes them play totally differently. And I just hate the fact that people literally go into fights and they just literally do nothing but just wait. Do nothing, just fucking backpedal and wait for you to swing first, just so they can punish you. That is so fucking stupid. It pisses me off, and that's why I'm okay with regen build, specifically to counter people like that. That's what I have.
See,
to say
that's
about
why
regen.
I put some regen items on all of my builds for exactly that reason. Whether it be a blessed, infused, side item, shield, cestus, whatever, Sun Princess ring, whatever. But and I guess I don't really have an issue with the build itself. It's the people who make the build and then as soon as they take damage, they sit there and turtle.
Well, okay, I can understand that.
Because every single time I've come across that build, that's how they play. They come in, they trade or do whatever, and then they take damage and they sit back and turtle until they get their health back. And then they come back in, and then they go back and turtle again.
Right. And you know what? I understand that, but listen, but that's completely understandable. But I use the regen specifically, like I said, to make
like
the
your
passive
build. I've
bleeds.
fought your build before. I'm fine with that because you don't sit back and turtle behind a
Right.
health regen great shield
Exactly.
and just tank everything and turtle. You actually, you know, you fight. You don't just sit
Right.
there and wait to get your health back.
Right. So I understand that. So I guess that's more okay. So maybe your issue isn't so much with regen as more with turtles.
It's
for whatever
the
reason.
regen combined with the turtles.
Okay.
I don't mind turtles as much. Most of the time I can deal with them. I don't mind regen as long as they're not being stupid passive about it.
Yeah. I just have, like I said, I just have an issue with like super passive dweebs. That's what pisses me off personally. Fucking hate that shit. Pisses me off for somebody that uses great hammers, ultras, and great axes. That is so fucking annoying. Run into some dweeb with a straight sword and fucking Black Knight shield. It's one of the most
I hate
fucking
you.
annoying things to fight. But anyways, yeah, no, that's a good point though. That's a good point. Like I said, I'm afraid that they're gonna patch these glitches, and it sucks. But for the time being, I do think they're gonna bring more people. They're gonna make more people active, like invade actively and do all kinds of other stuff. And I think that's good, because anything to, like I said, increase the number of players or the number of player-to-player interactions is good in my opinion. So, wow, nice finish.
Finally.
Nice catch.
Good job. That was nice.
Yeah, that was a nice catch.
Thank you.
No, so yeah, so I agree. But Ghost, what do you think? What do you think about these glitches, and what do you think the long, short-term results are going to be?
Well, like the other said, it is a... Sorry, let me rephrase myself. There are people that are going to come, but at the same time, I would say 25% more of the people may leave due to constant invasions, probably. And we all know that the majority of the people will react.
Okay. But I mean, overall though, you're saying that long term it's gonna be a positive impact or negative impact?
Unfortunately, I would say a negative.
Oh, hold on one second. I need to check messages.
So you think it would be a negative? Okay, so you think it's gonna be negative? Okay.
Yes, because
What do you think? Because why?
because who knows? If it's constant enough, a lot of people will report it, but there's a possibility that it may not happen at the same time. I don't mind the glitches, so yeah.
Okay. I see. What about what do you think would happen if, like I said, they do end up patching it in a month? Because I think that's gonna drop people off, because the people that came back to the game to do boss invasions and mess around with the buff glitches, I think those people there's a bigger amount of those people than people that are gonna be like, oh my god, I'm getting invaded every time I go to a boss and it makes me mad, blah blah blah. So I think if they do end up patching it, which I still think they're gonna do it, it's just gonna take time. I think that's gonna be a bigger drop of people than if they leave the glitches. That's my opinion. I think if they leave glitches long term, it's gonna be more people, because people are gonna come back to the game just because it's gonna be more fun. That's why.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think. But that's cool.
So you go, Shaka. You got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
alrighty.
Warren, do you have a mic? I don't know if Warren's got a mic. He got invited to discuss with us, but alright, he might be having mic issues. Yeah, like I said, I'm just afraid that they're gonna take it out within a month, and unfortunately, there's gonna be less people because of it, versus then how many people potentially they would lose if they leave this. Yeah, because like I said, I've been doing the boss invasions since
Oh well.
the day I found out, and I have not gotten a single hate mail. Whereas I remember when I used to do it before, dude, I used to get so much hate mail from scrubs, telling me, hey, the only reason you in boss invade because that's the only you'll win, and blah blah blah. And I would challenge these people to a duel, and these fucking people would not go in and want to fight. And I found that fucking hilarious. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that long run, if they leave the glitches, it'll be better. If they take them out, it's gonna be worse than before glitches. That's what I think. But I'm afraid that eventually, if people complain enough, from it is gonna patch it. It's just gonna take a little longer than what it would normally. So, whatever.
One thing I will say is that I really hate this kid. He really grinds my gears.
Yeah, he's good with that spear.
Beer.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think, like I said, I'm gonna leave the other topic I had for next week. But yeah, no, I definitely think that whether it's more people coming back to the game or more people doing invasions, I think that's more fun. And I guess I was gonna ask Leviathan. I'm gonna wait till you're done with your fight. But somebody returned home. Damn it! Whoever returned home, sorry about that. I think someone here is kicking you out when I summon them. So just put your sign down. I'm gonna figure out who it is that I summoned recently. So.
I just joined right now, so that could be me.
Okay, so that's probably you. Okay. Yeah, just drop your sign and I'll pick you up. And then, Ghost, you go fight next, okay? Whenever, this fight is over, you go fight next, so I can resummon him. Yeah, no, like I said, I think that people that are left playing this game do like this more than people that might be casuals and don't like it. So, yeah, I'm definitely okay with it. So,
One thing I will say
that's
that I
my
really
opinion.
like to see is animation glitches. Have you ever had it where you see a host after you invade them, and it looks like they're constantly sipping Estus when they run and do anything? That's really funny to see.
Most of the
So
time,
I
that's an
thought,
issue with lag, but
yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna say that's a lag. I was gonna say that's just lag.
I was just gonna say I really like seeing stuff like that, and I wish there was more glitches like animation glitches where you can just see people fuck around and shit. I think it'd bring a lot of fun back to the game.
But what do you mean animation glitches,
Sometimes
though?
it's fine. Personally, I don't like it, especially if they're, trying to fight you. Because then, oh, it looks like they're sipping Estus, and then you turn around and you randomly take 3 Ultra Great Sword hits that never actually happened. Happens all the time when I invade, and it's frustrating.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Happens in the arena on occasion, too.
I'm sorry I missed what you were saying.
Oh, dang, you got me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
but,
the
oh, well.
animation glitch. Yeah, I guess, but
And you disappeared again.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't care for it. Stay there and fight Ghost so that I can pick up.
Yeah.
This Astro. Oh, we got invaded. That's why an invader kicked him out. Fuck. Nader, you got kicked out by Mad Spirit that invaded. He was probably trying to do a boss invasion glitch and he fucked up.
Oh. Thought you were gonna stop. Oh, well.
Nope.
So
Ultra Great Swords are my
GG.
primary weapon. It's very it's very rare that I actually stop. I just delay it for a second.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Hey,
roll, but I wanted to see.
guys, by the way, if this Mad Spirit doesn't come here for some reason, you may have to go out in the
I see him
courtyard
on the
and-
stairs.
Oh, you see him on the stairs? Okay.
I think I see someone.
No, that's a red.
Yeah.
Oh, he is a red. Okay. Alright, you might as well fight him already. Yeah. I'm gonna go over here just in case. I thought he was
We
a
should
Mad
gank.
Spirit, that's why. No. He'll kill him.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm just saying, I'm gonna block off the stairs over here. Nice. Yep. Nice. And he was laggy. He just died.
He's trying to
He
run.
wasn't laggy for me. Although
Yeah, he wasn't looking for me either.
my internet has been weird all day, so I'm starting to think that maybe my connection is weird because both Nader and the guy earlier with the Vort's hammer, both of them, there were several times that I very clearly hit them and they take no damage. And it was
Yeah,
happening earlier in the arena too.
Interesting.
At that voice.
Yeah. By the way, is that yeah, you cast DMB on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I was wondering about that. Guys, for those of you that are watching, if you want to join the Fight Club, password is just podcast, lowercase, and I'll pick you up.
Any thoughts on
but-
your guys' favorite ring?
A ring, a specific ring.
Yeah, specific. Like Leo ring's always been my favorite.
It depends, but for me, it's probably, honestly, it's probably. It used to be a Ring of Favor +3 because of all the stats that it boosts for me, but recently with the buff, I love Prisoner Chain Ring. I've literally swapped rings on every single build to incorporate Prisoner Chain because I think it's so good for what it offers. So yeah, I'd say probably if I had to pick one, the prison chain. Yeah. But that's my opinion. Leo ring is good too if you got, you know, weapons that do like the thrust, obviously. What else? I'm trying to think.
Oh, that didn't hit me.
Nice. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think maybe you should fight this guy.
Oh, I fought them before.
Oh, fight
I
him.
really hate fighting them.
The what
I'm
else?
on my
Oh,
way.
okay. Ghost, yeah, go fight.
Aren't you
them,
just
or
supposed to be able to like run to the right or something, and a spear is never supposed to hit you?
Not that one.
It's a
You mean
magical
like
spear.
You mean like strafe to the side?
Yeah.
I think that thing has a slightly maybe higher box, but
Who's using
yeah,
the
it
washing pole?
somebody I don't know from I think watching the stream or something. So, but
I remember.
Alrighty.
I remember when Artorias used the washing pole. That was pretty cool.
yeah, good old days.
Yeah.
Alright, Ghost, you're gonna
I
go
like
in next, so
using-
I can summon the
Yeah.
other guy
Yeah.
in case so that I can full fight you guys. But yeah.
Any thoughts on the Covenants? I think they fucked them up this game again.
What's the point of Blue Sentinels and Way of Blue having, or Blue Sentinels and Blade of the Dark Moon doing the exact same thing?
I don't know.
You're
That's
okay.
stupid.
See, maybe guys, maybe
Like, I
I'm thinking
suppose
that
part of it is you can get Blue Sentinels a lot earlier, and you can
yeah,
start
but
farming for the Concords earlier. But that's
you know what I think? What we were talking about earlier is maybe the Blue Sentinels originally were put in the game to allow you invade with a blue orb, and the Dark Moon was a summon strictly. Maybe that was the case. It would make sense. Remember how Blue Sentinels obviously in DS2 you were able to get summoned and then you were able to use blue orbs? Maybe, like I said, maybe they had Blue Sentinels
That is some crazy summon range.
in the game. Maybe they had the Blue Sentinels in the game specifically for invading with the orb, and then they just kind of scrapped it in the end, got lazy and said, fuck it, we're just gonna, you know, we're not gonna bother with the not penalty system, but the what the fuck is it called? Not penalty, but sin system, you know, with like a sin system like in Dark Souls 2 and 1, and we're just gonna basically make the DMB Covenant to be the same as the Blue Sentinels. So, I don't know. That's what I think.
I think it's just dumb because people getting into the game now, they can't get the rewards for
Oh yeah, I know. Unless they farm.
some of the Covenants. Yeah.
Yeah, unless they farm. I know. I know. It's
Like every time they make the Covenants, they always make it seem like the game's gonna be populated forever, and it's
Right.
obviously not.
There we
nice
go.
fake. That was
Thank you.
nice fake. Yeah, nice fake.
I've recently
Yeah,
found out that that weapon art is a lot better than most people give it credit for. First time I hit him with it, hit him for almost 1,000 damage.
Well, you stack Leo ring on that, don't you?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I know, because on my Astora build, I stack it with Leo ring too, and I can get that kind of damage. I've gotten the most I've gotten with the charged R2. No, with the weapon art, I think I've gotten as high as the 1100. Charged R2, I hit somebody for 1300 one time, and I insta killed them because they had just 1300 health. So maybe it was even more than that, but yeah. I thought it was pretty interesting.
What? I must have stepped into range when I initiated the weapon art. Oh, I should
I
have
think
been
that's what it was.
Yeah.
And
I don't
even
know.
then, that
I just-
practically one-shot me. Unless, do you have Leo ring on?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said. That he uses Leo. Oh, you know what, Leviathan? So I was gonna ask you. So like, yeah, you mentioned a couple things. So like one, what's his name? Peeve resurrecting Bloodshades. See,
He's
I think
trying
that's
to,
another. Yeah, I think that's another cool thing that someone's doing, for whatever reason it may be, that I like, because it's like, hey, if they're gonna do this, then they're bringing more. They're bringing more people in because of that, you know, and I think that's so cool.
Like, I've heard that he himself doesn't even play Dark Souls all that much anymore, but he's still trying to keep people playing the game.
Well, you know what? You mentioned that. I think Dixon was telling me that. I guess last time that he was watching the stream, the very last time, and I guess it was a few months back, and apparently,
Jeez.
apparently he got married. I guess, and I guess
I didn't
that's
know
why.
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what Dixon was saying. So maybe that's why.
Maybe. I just
I
heard
can't
he
remember
was playing
if it
other
was,
games.
Ouroboros or Peeve, but I remember one of them doesn't even like playing the game anymore. Like, the only reason
That's,
they play it is because of subs.
Ouroboros. Yep, that's Ouroboros.
Probably
Because,
Ouroboros.
yep, it is. Because Dixon was telling me that he had a stream recently. When people found out that Boss Invasions were back, I guess he went back to just invading people, and I guess he told his subscribers, "Hey, go here. Maybe I'll invade you, and I'm gonna put DMB on my fucking fucking ring paired great swords." And I guess he was complaining about the game, saying that he's got such hard time invading here, and that he doesn't like invading here, and he doesn't like playing the game as much, but the only reason he's doing it is because of subs. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who they were talking about. So
I think that should send a message to FromSoft saying that, you know, one of their biggest supporters doesn't even like the game anymore.
yeah,
I think that should
I
show
mean,
that, you know, they really need to
yeah,
work
I know,
on
but
it.
the thing is, see, you know what I think, Red? That would be ideal, but I still think that they just plain don't care. They're just like, fuck
FromSoft
it, we don't
probably
care.
already knows about it.
Yeah, and they just don't care. They're like, hey, we're working on this game, we're working on this other game, so we don't give a fuck who doesn't or does play DS3 anymore. That's what I think. Yeah. Damn, someone is not compatible here. I don't know who. This guy's the invader, so yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Did someone die right before you summoned me?
No, Nader got returned home, and I don't know
'Cause-
why.
Maybe Nader and I are having issues, because the first time he tried to summon me it failed, and then the second time it worked. Just now.
We'll see.
But we fought. I don't... Well, maybe that's where some of
See-
those issues I mentioned are coming from.
No,
It's like my
it could
internet
be-
has been acting weird today. Maybe it's just...
Yeah, but also it could be me because I've been here alive for so long and I haven't refreshed the world. So maybe I'll try refreshing the world or something. I might just try
You
that.
want me to kill you?
No, I'll just fight the winner. You can.
Oh, that weird
Here.
parry where you still take damage even though you parried them. Oh, I hate it when
Yeah.
that
Oh
happens.
yeah. That's the other thing I was gonna mention. DS3 is the only game that allows you to do that. That literally allows you to fucking
Take damage while parrying.
get a partial parry, still take some damage, and then still be able to repost. I don't think that should be the case. If somebody hits you, I think you should be. Your damage might be reduced, but then you shouldn't have enough time to go and repost somebody. That's what I think.
That was weird.
There are times that I've actually not been able to get the riposte because I was staggered so hard by the hit.
Well, correct, and it depends on the hit. I guess it depends on the hit. If the hit was like a very heavy hit, if that has happened to me before. But if it was like a very weak hit, I haven't seen that happen, to be honest, as much. So, yeah. But, yeah. Okay, I have this. Yeah. Okay, Ghost, you're still fighting? Okay. Alright.
What?
GG.
I wasn't hit by that, but okay.
What's this? Oh, that's good. Okay.
Alright.
See, Leviathan, you were able to be in the same world as Nader. So I think it was Invader that kicked him out last time. It wasn't you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the invader just didn't like both of us.
Oh. Now I know why.
Why?
Should I go Cancer? Dark Moonblade Follower Saber.
No,
If you want.
please. Have mercy.
Have mercy on that.
To be perfectly honest, I've only ever used both. I've only ever used Follower Saber and or Karthus Curved Sword once. I used it in an invasion.
I haven't used
And,
either ever.
It was after all of the nerfs and everything. I just wanted to see if it was still good because I hadn't seen them, either one of them, in months. And yeah, they're still good.
I will say that
I was
in
fighting
Dark
the
Souls-
host and two of his phantoms, and there was no contest. They couldn't kill me. They couldn't touch me if I didn't let them do it.
I will say that in Dark Souls 2, I could be best described as a Cancer. I was a Great Shield user with the Dark Sword, and I would literally
Oh
just
my
R1
God.
spam.
You were atrocious.
Oh, I
I
used
don't know.
Go
both
jump
fists.
off the cliff for that.
No, I've already punished myself enough.
That is you know, in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, I use a great club. I mean a great hammers. Those were my weapons.
Actually, I'm doing a Dark Souls 1 run right now, and I'm using a halberd. I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I used bone fists.
Bone fists are fun, but not viable in my opinion. Oh,
Yeah,
here comes the question.
um,
Can pure Cancer beat pure skill? Let's see.
Yep. Oh, he knocked you out of your harp armor.
Yeah, but that much damage is a little ridiculous, and I should have hit him, and it didn't.
I think he's using
It's
a
mainly
wheel
the
here.
staggering.
I think
I
you were
really-
better off with your ultra.
I just have an issue fighting spears in general.
I really don't want to fight this kid.
I'll fight him
And
again
he's
once
by
I join.
far the best spear user I've ever fought. Any of the others I've been able to beat them fairly consistently. I just can't get around that stupid thing. And then even when I hit him, it tells me I don't. And I to get like 20 damage, and then he just keeps going, and it's just, come on.
Oh, 420 damage? Hell yeah, I'll take that.
No, not 420, just 20.
No, I got 420.
Oh.
Oh. Like, I think the one time I hit him, it gave me like 29 damage. And it's just, why? I hit him, it should have staggered him. That was my weapon art. And it's just, no, that's not allowed.
Come on. Yes. Yes. Oh. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm taking a
There you
break.
Fight Club, dude. Like the usual podcast. Like I've been doing. No, it's podcast.
I'm so happy.
Did you
I
just
beat
turn
him. I
into a
think-
demon? I have already
No.
4. This is just as chaos. Brother's playing Darksiders, and he just turned from this, well, one of the 4 horsemen into a giant flaming demon.
Interesting. Is my world full, or am I just not seeing signs? Who's this? 1, 2.
There's not some hiding, is there? I'll go check.
Because I'm not seeing a single sign.
Also, it's weird. I primarily use Ultra Great Swords, and typically I don't have any issues beating another Ultra Great Sword with a Hyper Armor weapon. But as soon as I put away a Hyper Armor weapon and grab something else, I can't beat them anymore. I have issues with it.
The
Interesting.
thing I will say is, you know, Ultra Great Swords normally leave you open and backstabs. I fucking love the Cathedral Knight because it has that backswing on it.
I don't have that range.
Yo, why do
Figured
I...
you-
Are you like checking for invaders or something?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, hold on. No, we're
Dang
good.
it, ran
We're
out of
good.
stamina.
We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
I figured you would. That's why I went for it.
I'm coming back right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think somebody was just blocking somebody, but whatever. So Leviathan, I was gonna ask you. So you mentioned like, okay, so Peeve got on his Xbox account and he's been trying to resurrect the Bloodshades, which is why I've seen more Bloodshades, which makes sense. Which is, like I said, cool because that means more people coming back to the game and invading whatnot. You mentioned, you know, you've been playing on PlayStation, so there's definitely a higher player pool on PlayStation, right? What the fuck is
Probably,
that?
yeah.
Yo, what are you doing?
You could not do that. It'd be great.
The ostrich. Okay. Alright. So yeah, so you said there's bigger player pool. What about like oh yeah, you only have a 200 level character.
No, I have
so
4
it's
characters.
not like,
All of them except for that one and the Bloodshade technically are at meta level.
okay. So is there more fight clubs, more people playing arena?
That's okay.
Alright, no,
I
hold
don't
on.
run into too many fight clubs. I find most
Okay.
people in the arena. I don't run into too many fight clubs as an invader. Every once in a while,
What
but not
about-
often.
What about invasions? Do you still run into a lot of ganks and shit?
Almost everything's a gank, yeah. But it was like that on Xbox too.
Yeah.
Every single time I've invaded... Okay, not every single time, but almost every single time I've invaded, it's a gank squad. Almost every time.
But you
Like,
also haven't.
since I've been invading on PlayStation, there's been maybe 4 out of all the invasions that I've done that weren't gank squads.
Yeah, but you haven't invaded on the Xbox in a while, right?
Not since I got the PlayStation, no. So it's
Okay.
been a couple weeks. But even on Xbox, I didn't... Almost everything was a gank squad. Every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think it was more common on it was definitely more common on Xbox to run into a solo host or a host and 1 phantom But on PlayStation, almost every single invasion is a gang squad, and almost always with higher level people, higher level phantoms.
Okay. Warren, what are you doing? Did you want to fight? Or someone else was in there? Oh.
Eating it.
So Leviathan, okay, so there's more people in the arena. What about, okay, have you experienced people doing the glitch on PlayStation?
On PlayStation, like I said, and I have seen people doing it. I've seen one person specifically in the arena. I've seen one phantom from a gang squad do it. And I've seen like 15 or 20 invaders do it. So the guy that I got two-shot by earlier today with the Dark Blade, Frayed Blade, that was on PlayStation, and that's the only person I've seen do it on PlayStation.
What the hell?
That's interesting. Huh.
Oh,
That's
he got me so
interesting.
mad because that was the third time I fought him, and I beat him both the other times, and because he didn't get the buff off. And then the one time he gets the buff off, he two-shots me, and I'm using an Ultra Greatsword, and I can't even two-shot him.
Right. That's crazy, dude, that he fucking two-shot you with Frey Blade. That's crazy.
Oh, nope.
Alright.
The weapon art, it wasn't like R1, R1, it was the two weapon arts. The one weapon art, it hit me probably for 700 damage. Just that one. Hit me for probably 700 damage, and he just hit me with it twice because Ultra Greatsword.
Yeah.
Derek, do you have lightning resin?
Yeah.
I just realized this is a dex build and I have a refined follower saber. Okay, makes sense.
Thank you. Oh god, it's him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, I was wondering about that. Obviously, I'm not gonna buy a PlayStation just because I'm not gonna be. If I ever move to something else, it's gonna be PC gaming, not consoles.
Well, I'm trying to get into PC too, but I haven't been able to get. I have a laptop, but it can't run Dark Souls 3, and it's a laptop, so I can't exactly upgrade it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. You know what I think they should do is, if they made the game fucking cross-platform for matchmaking, so like you can fight people on the Xbox just like you're fighting people on PlayStation. I think that would be so cool. That, you know, but once again,
Yeah, except across consoles could work, but on PC with mods and stuff that they have, it'd be an issue.
right. I guess you're
Cross
right about
console
that.
would be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot of fun.
something. Yeah.
Like I like how
So-
I think World of Tanks was the first improvement I saw to get there was Xbox 360 players could play with Xbox One players.
Oh wait, don't they have that in like shooters like Halo and COD? So like if you're playing Black Ops 2 on 360, you can match up with Xbox One players playing it backwards compatible. Isn't that
Well,
the
that's
same
only-
thing?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
was
but that's
saying,
because
like,
the Xbox One basically uses a 360 emulator. So you
Yeah.
connect to the 360 servers. It's a little bit different.
Oh, okay. I see. So it's not like its own Xbox One servers plus 360. They're basically 360. I get it. I understand that. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
And I just got hit by something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Totally
Leviathan
not the guy with a bow and arrow.
spamming us with the bow and arrow here.
working as intended.
Yeah.
Anybody else think people should be able to invade while embered?
Never even.
Yes, yes. We talked about this on one of our previous episodes. Definitely. Like in Dark Souls 2, you can still invade people when they're, when they're hollowed or whatever. That's how it should be in this game. It should allow people to get invaded.
I think there should
even
be
if
an
they're unumbered.
option to do it all the time. Default, maybe not, because that's so for a solo host at least.
Okay, well, they could do it just like in Dark Souls 2, where you had to turn it off at the bonfire, and without it, you had like 30 minutes after you killed the boss where you couldn't get invaded. You know?
No, I meant like you know how if I'm embered while I get summoned, I'll still keep the ember, like the health that comes with it and everything. I'm talking about that for invasion.
When you're summoned as a red, yeah, that's already a thing.
No. He's talking about invasions. Well, yeah, I understand.
If you invade, you don't have the ember.
I'm saying you should
you don't
have
keep
it,
it.
in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? The way this game is made, where it prioritizes ganks. Yeah, you're right. That would be a cool,
Probably.
like, I guess, to give an invaders a better chance. Yeah, I agree.
Plus, I do Fight Club so often that I'm not even used to having the lower health. Like whenever I invade, I forget I only have 13k rather than 18k. You know, it's a big difference.
Right. No, I agree. I think that's
15k. I think you mean 1500.
Yeah, my bad.
Because if you have 15k health, you're a hacker.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
he
totally
meant
legit. Working as
1500.
intended.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Leviathan,
recording
is
a
this your
midget, man.
bow
I am
build,
a
or are you
hacker.
just messing with the fucking bow?
This is my dex build. It's the same build that I've been using for the last several fights. It's just, this was originally a bow build. I went through the game using almost strictly a bow.
How do you do
Jesus,
that, man?
that sounds awful.
Because I did it in Dark Souls 2.
God. People like you are just what makes me want to try stuff like that, because I can't
I've
do it.
only
I don't
ever
have the
found
patience.
one other bow build, pure bow build in Dark Souls 2, and that was one of the most fun fights I've ever had.
What about Haviland? Haviland's pretty close.
No.
You're not a fan of
Vampire
Haviland?
Vampire made a pure bow build. Have you seen his pure bow build? I think he ended up respecting it, but he had one.
Night! Love you too!
Oh,
Hey!
But
Oh, that hit you.
yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my god, that is so annoying.
Yeah?
Who's fucking doing this?
Maybe, possibly? Maybe?
Leviathan, is that you?
Yes.
Okay.
Cody can't hear you!
Can you like mute
Yeah?
yourself?
Yeah?
Oh, who's the- Dude, that is such a
Okay.
stupid build right now. A bow build.
Yeah, except
Jesus.
it's supposed to be staggering him and it isn't.
Bow build
He doesn't
reloaded.
get hyper armor with a spear. I shouldn't have been hit half as many times. Granted,
Bow
it
build
wasn't doing
reloaded.
any damage, so I probably wasn't going to win in the first place, but
I promise
running
you, man,
around
bow
with
builds are the
composite
build of the
bow
future.
and rolling attacks all day.
Pretty soon, you'll
I've
be able to
actually
trade with
beaten
the
people
strength
doing
build.
that. Not often, but
That's interesting.
but
Bow builds
still,
are where it's at.
it has, like, the arrows stagger. Everything but the weapon art staggers. So why wasn't it staggering him? Like,
Right.
ever. And there was at least 2 different occasions that I watched the arrow go through him and it didn't do any damage.
What is it
Working
that
as
would
intended.
make what is it that would make the arrows staggered though? I don't understand.
You're getting shot with an arrow. I mean, it doesn't take much hyper armor to go through it, but a spear on its own doesn't have any hyper armor.
Come on, Lost Stretch, you got this.
Like, a great sword with, like, 2 poise could tank it. But anything... A halberd could do it. But anything smaller than that doesn't have any hyper armor to begin with. Unless I get a headshot. If I get a headshot, I can pull an ultra great sword out of anything and everything.
Right.
Give me a stomp.
I don't know about a stomp. I've actually never tried that. But everything else, yeah.
What do you mean stomp into what?
The weapon art. If I hit a headshot while they're in stomp, will it pull them out of it? I don't know.
Oh.
But every
no,
time
I
I
don't know,
get it,
sometimes
every
I have,
time
like,
I've landed a
total bullshit pull me
headshot.
out of a stomp. It's really
I don't know if we
Yeah,
can find
Stomp is
out.
You
like
know
so
why?
unpredictable.
Yeah, but you know why? The only reason that
Why?
happened to you is because there was slight lag, and on your screen you finished your animation of stomp, or you were like in your hyper armor for stomp,
Oh,
but
yeah,
on their
there's like a
screen you
split
were still in
second
your
between
startup.
the-
Yeah.
There's a
like a
split second
split-second
between the
startup.
stomp and the actual swing that you don't have any hyper armor. And if they hit you during it, they will pull you out of it every time.
Right. Right. Yep.
It's a little bull, but it's there. It's obnoxious. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it loses the fight sometimes.
That's the
Because
only
that's
way I
like,
can
depending
beat,
on the
Profane Lion.
specific weapon you're using, that's anywhere from 700 to 1,000 damage that you didn't get that you should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting Profane Lion mid stomp is the only way I've been able to kill him so far.
Really?
Which is really sad, yeah. I've done it twice.
I've just caught him with the weapon art on the Astoras. Pretty much the only time I've been able to hit him, period, because the recovery and the range on that spear. Even with the Astora's greatsword, I can't hit him. It's one of the longer range ones.
Got this. Got this. Bro, build new beta.
Yeah.
240
God.
damage on a headshot, though. That's ridiculous. I remember the damage on this being a lot higher. I remember hitting for 300 damage a shot, and now it's hitting for like 100. Hey, I'm in my inventory.
Alright,
Nope.
Red. You got it.
No. I'm good.
Just go and fight, dude.
I'd really rather not. Only time I beat him once was because of fucking lag.
Yeah. I don't know. It's It's interesting.
You know
But
what? If you're watching the stream, Nader Tot, I like despise you in every way, shape, and form. I don't know what it is.
see this guy 27s. I think this guy invaded before. Hey, Leviathan,
did.
get ready to chase. Yeah, get ready to chase down if needed, because all right, he's gonna come in here. Yep, he did. Okay, he was cool. That's the guy I beat. Okay, he was cool. All right, he's cool. I thought it was the other guy. So.
I finally hit him. Wow.
So. We're gonna let the invader go in next because he's just gonna be taking up spots. But oh yeah, I guess I was gonna ask you about this, Leviathan. How's the here? Let me point down the invader. How's the does PlayStation get better graphics? Because they had like some sort of update, like one of the updates was supposedly
I don't know.
specifically for the
Maybe?
Oh, because you have
Maybe
the regular
PS4
PlayStation
Pro,
or
I just have the regular one.
Pro. Oh yeah, I was thinking of the Pro. That's what it is.
But I'm actually starting to really like the PlayStation. There's just software and stuff that you can do on it that, I mean, Xbox has most of it, but it's nowhere near as good. Like the streaming thing that you can do where you can basically broadcast your game to your computer. It's a lot better on PlayStation.
Interesting. Well, don't be talking about Xbox being better here, and we're playing an Xbox. I mean, PlayStation being better, and we're all freaking playing on Xbox. So that's funny. What?
I've hit him
You know-
twice, and he didn't take any damage.
follow-
Okay.
Follower Saber I think has been slightly like reduced in speed. I want to say, similar to Karthus.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Falchion also got that too.
But
Uh,
I hit him several times, and he didn't take any damage.
I don't know, but I'm about to turn off the stream, so I'm gonna fight the winner, and then I'm gonna turn off the stream. We can still do Fight Club. I'm just not gonna stream it anymore because it's already getting long, and I'm gonna fucking have a
No?
huge ass upload. And this Med Spirit invaded again. Why is this guy keeps fucking up? This is what I was talking about, guys. This dude keeps messing up his boss invasion glitch. He's clearly trying. Dude, I guarantee you this guy's trying to boss invade, and he keeps fucking catching us. That shit's hilarious. Alright, go fight. And we'll fight the winner. Ah.
Nader not. I sent Nader not or Nader taught in a message. I said I despise you, and he invited me to join his club.
Oh. He's got a club?
I guess Flame Viper Initiates. I don't know what the hell this is. I will join though.
No, he's definitely one of the better players I've fought. I'll give him that, but that spear is retarded. I have an issue fighting spears already, but when I hit him and he doesn't take any damage, and then he misses me and it does damage, that's a little bull.
It is odd. It is
Yeah.
odd.
Nader's
Because I've gotten some
Like, my
hits as
internet's
well.
been messing up all day, so that's probably part of it, but still.
You're not the only one.
Yeah. I guess.
For some reason, that spear has a quick thrust. So it's hard.
It's also the longest range
dodge the
spear in the
first time.
game, and it has the best
Oh, yeah,
weapon
it-
art. That
used-
weapon art alone
it-
hits for 1,000 damage because all three
it
hits
used to-
combo, and it's bull.
It used to be what's that gargoyle spear? Right? It used to be gargoyle spear is like the longest.
Yeah, they're both about the same, except when the Lothric or the Ring Knight spear has the buff on, because with the buff on it, it gets a little bit more range, because the fire flares up, and so like half the time when you guys are mentioning phantom range, it's not really phantom range. That's just extra range that the spear gets because it has the buff active, and it's bull.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't see the spear all that much anymore, but it's annoying. Spears in general are hard for me to fight.
Oh damn! I thought I got him. Nice Nader. I think this is the first time he beat me. Man, the stream is long as fuck. God, it's gonna take me forever. Yeah.
I bet you just do
Nader, is
highlights
this the first
instead of
time?
uploading the whole thing.
No, I usually upload the whole thing. Alright guys, thanks for watching this week. Next week we're gonna have another podcast, so join us next week.
And don't forget to follow Red Flu 54 at Xbox Live.
Alright, how do I... Nader,
So
I've
anyone
beaten
want to
you
help me
more than
test
twice.
the critical damage on this build?
I know we fought more than twice. Or I mean 3 times. I know we fought more than 3 times.
I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, I'm gonna. All right, for those of you guys that wanna continue with the Fight Club, just drop your signs, and I'll pick you up. But I'm just gonna turn off the Twitch. Come on, Twitch.
Don't twitch out. Alright, gentlemen, have a good night.
See ya.